Red-hot Andy Pettitte on the mound for the Yankees today on a blistering Sunday afternoon in New York City. In fact, it's so hot, people are asking me for advice.
Hey, Michael, should I get this?
Well, in the words of our very own Al Leiter, yes, of course you should buy it. Always good to get a souvenir. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. The defending world champion New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the rubber game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yankees baseball along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees won the first game of the series 5-4 in dramatic fashion. Yesterday, a 10-5 loss to the Rays. Now, the loss isn't that big of a deal. The way A.J. Burnett pitched, that's a big deal.
Yes, that's very true, Michael. He struggled. He's been pitching some very good baseball for the Yankees of late, but yesterday afternoon, everything stopped going in the right direction. A.J. with some fielding problems early in the ballgame. That hurt him. He also had problems with control. That hurt him as well. Wild pitches. And then a power problem. Reed Brignac with the first of his 2 home runs in the ballgame. And he had a big afternoon here yesterday. He hit Evan Longoria with a pitch and eventually had to leave the ballgame, his earliest exit of the season.
All right, now he had to leave because he had cuts on his hand. There's the numbers, but there's a story behind the numbers. After one of the innings, he goes in and he hits the door, and he cuts his hand. But he tells his trainer, Steve Donahue, that he actually tripped over a step and fell down. So there was misinformation out there, and A.J. Burnett, after the game, tries to set everything straight.
Frustration. I'm not the first person to do it. Another report was given to you wrong because that was the first thing that I told them, but I realized the truth is more important than anything. I got frustrated today and came in and double pushed the door and very lightly had a cut on my hand, on both hands, and I didn't know what to say at first, and that's why I came up with what I did to Steve, and he's the one that told Cash, so I felt that it was better that I told the truth to everybody.
Yesterday, now the pitching today, New York Lottery pitching matchup, David Price, 12-4 for the Rays, 2.42. Andy Pettitte for the Yankees, 11-2, 2.70 ERA. Andy Pettitte's first half of the season was outstanding.
Yes, it has been, Michael. 11-2 record, most wins since '96, his best winning percentage ever at this point of the season. Look at the ERA, 2.70, lowest in his career. His 200th win as a Yankee that came against the Astros on June 11th, and 240 major league wins for Andy Pettitte.
And his mound opponent is pretty darn good. David Price, the American League's starter in the All-Star game. We'll break down his first half on segment 2 in just a moment. Pitch, Yankees against the Rays, the rubber game, and a pretty good pitching matchup. 2 of the top 5 ERAs in the American League Going up against each other, Price against Pettitte, and Price has the best ERA in the league at 2.42. And Kenny, this guy can deal.
Yeah, David Price was drafted by the Rays #1 overall back in 2007, and this is what they envisioned, getting a #1 starter. And he got a chance to start the All-Star game for the American League, and he has done a tremendous job. Up there in all the strikeout numbers in the league, and one of the top pitchers in the game. David Price, a #1 draft pick, turned into a #1 starter.
As we mentioned, this is the rubber game with a 3-game set Friday. A lot of drama, most of it provided by Nick Swisher with his big walk-off hit. And with the hot weather, you know what? There's been a lot of home runs flying out of the ballpark. Well, with these two pitchers, maybe not today. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, next on Yes. Is brought to you in part by McDonald's. Head to McDonald's for a refreshing large sweet tea on the dollar menu. Price and participation may vary. By the 2010 Honda Clearance, it's the only thing from Honda that won't last. And by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. Kind of an overcast day here at the stadium. The sun peeking in and out from behind the cloud, or the clouds, as the Yankees have taken the field. It's hot, it's humid. It's been that way all weekend. Yesterday, scorchingly hot at the ballpark. Same deal with high humidity on Friday. A little less humidity today. So the Yankees do take the field. Andy Pettitte about to take his warm-ups. And we'll take a look now at today's Rays starting lineup presented by Lexus. B.J. Upton, the center fielder, will lead off. Batting second and DHing today, Carl Crawford. Evan Longoria, the third baseman, will hit third. Cleaning up and playing first base, Carlos Pena. Ben Zobrist in right field. He's going to bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Jason Bartlett. Gabe Kapler in left field will hit seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Kelly Shofik. And Sean Rodriguez will play second base, and he's going to bat ninth.
Big game for Andy Pettitte and the Yankees this afternoon. A win would mean the Yankees would take this series 2-1 over the Rays. And Andy Pettitte, of course, having a tremendous year. We pointed to that. This will be his 18th start. Record 11-2, 2.70 earned run average, less than a hit per inning. Opponents hitting just 234, and he was a 2010 All-Star. Let's check out the scouting report on Andy Pettitte. Get ready to start this ball game. He's won his last 3 decisions. Left-handed batters are hitting just 167 against Andy Pettitte. Only one left-handed batter this year has hit a home run against him, and that is Pena. Pena power. Carlos Pena, not only a home run this year, but 5 in his career against Andy Pettitte.
Let's take a look at the Yankees defense, which is brought to you by Mercedes. It's Gardner in left, Granderson in center, and Swisher over in right. In the infield, you've got Alex Rodriguez at third, the captain and the shortstop, Derek Jeter, Cano at second, Teixeira at first, Posada behind the plate, and Andy Pettitte is on the mound. So everybody's locked in, ready to go. The rubber game of this 3-game set. Yankee shirt, Tampa Bay hat, so he can't lose. Andy Pettitte doesn't want to lose either. He has had an outstanding first half of the season. He's ready. B.J. Upton's ready. Let's do it. Here at the stadium, first pitch swung on and foul back, and we are underway.
Upton had a 6-game hitting streak broken yesterday. The Rays are desperately trying to get his bat going.
Now 2 games separate these two teams, so Yankees win their 3 up. The Rays win, they're just a game behind in the American League East. Rays are 57 and 33 on the season. That one is driven to center field. Granderson got a late jump, now going back. Still back, he's going to have to play it 1 hop up against the wall as Upton starts off the game with a single. That was a playable ball, and Granderson would tell you that, a double, I'm sorry. But he took a step in and then was slow getting back, and the ball landed on the warning track.
Yeah, he was frozen for a second there, and that cost him. That would have been worth a couple of extra steps and maybe a chance to make a catch up against the wall. Instead, he's going to have to play the ball off the wall, and Upton, with his tremendous speed, into second easily. Got good extension on the swing. And there is Granderson, not able to make the play.
Here's Carl Crawford. And he is DHing today. Bunts. And a nice play by Pettitte from his knees. Fires. And they get Crawford. He took a base hit away from Crawford, who looked as if he was bunting for a hit, but he'll likely be given a sacrifice. And he is given a sacrifice.
Yeah, he's going to get a sacrifice for moving the runner along. Looked like Andy got in on his hands. This is a tremendous play. Remember, left-handers fall off to the third base side. Andy had to recover. And there's always the pressure with Crawford running because he has such tremendous speed. Oh, that's a great look in Yesmo. As Andy Pettitte lays out, gloves the ball. This gets by him. It's going to be first and third and nobody out. Just got the speedy Crawford at first base.
With David Price, the mound opponent, Yankees bring the infield in for Longoria with a runner on third. And pitches inside and swung on and missed. 0-1. Longoria, 62 runs batted in. And fouls out one back.
A good point, Michael, about the fact that Joe Girardi realizing the mound opponent. He just saw Price pitch in the All-Star game. In fact, he made him the All-Star starter. So bringing the infield in, even with a dangerous hitter like Longoria at the plate.
And Longoria gets plunked. And he goes down. Cutter that got him, maybe got him on the ankle. We'll have to see, but definitely lower part of the leg. So he will take first base. And see if the Yankees back up now and try to get the double play with Pena up.
Longoria trying to shake off the effects of being hit in the lower leg with this cutter down and in. The back foot. And he is down in a heap at home plate. And now the Rays have first and third. Oh, look like he hit right on the toe. That cannot feel good. In fact, he's sprinting down first base there trying to loosen things up. But now the infield can drop back in double play depth with Carlos Pena coming to the plate.
Pena had a big day yesterday, 4-hit game, first one since May of 2007. He had a double, a homer, 3 RBIs in the Rays' 10-5 victory. So his average went up to 210, started at 201. Yankees do put the infield back at double play depth. Upton at third, Longoria at first, and he's almost picked off. He was leaning, but gets back. Boy, that would add insult to injury. You get plunked, and then you get picked off.
Well, Longoria has done it pretty well in the stolen base department. We look at against Andy Pettitte for Carlos Pena, who has struggled somewhat this year, and only yesterday maybe started to come out of it. The Rays, like Upton, they want him to get going too in the second half of the season if they have any chance of overtaking the Yankees in the Eastern Division.
Pitch inside.
Longoria is one of those base stealers that's kind of sneaky, if you will. He's 13 out of 15. I think he's just coming into his own, learning how to steal bases. And he's falling in line with some of the other Rays players. Maybe not to the magnitude of Upton or Crawford, but he's becoming a better base stealer.
Count 2-0. So Andy struggling here early. Told you about his 11-2 first half.
trying to keep the ball in on Pena. Pena likes the ball out over the plate in about belt high or maybe even a little higher. That is his happy zone.
The 2-0. High fly ball. Deep right. Swisher back. Looking up. See ya. A 3-run home run for Carlos Pena. And just like that, Tampa Bay is up 3-0. Well, we gave you those numbers. Pena against Pettitte, a portent of things to come. And 3 runs on the board against David Price does not bode well.
Pena still only the lone left-handed hitter to hit a home run off Andy Pettitte this year. Now he has 2 of them and 6 in his career against Andy. Let's see where this pitch is. Belt high out over the plate. That's his happy zone. He likes to hook the ball, and he hooks this one into the second deck in right field.
And the pitch to Ben Zobrist is a strike. Pena, who has not had a great year, look at his average coming in at .210. He now has 5 home runs and 12 ribbies in 7 games against the Yankees this year. Count 0-2 to Zobrist.
Since 2007, no batter in the American League has hit more home runs against the Yankees than Carlos Pena. That's his 19th home run against the Yankees since then.
Zobrist has good numbers against Pettitte as well. 6 for 14, 2 of the 6 home runs. So the inning started off with a shaky play in center field by Granderson, turning what could have been an out into a double for Upton. Then a nice play on Carl Crawford's sac bunt. Longoria hit by a pitch and a 3-run home run by Pena, as the Rays have 3 runs on the board. Still 2-2. First inning is always Andy's problem area. He has now allowed 12 runs in the first inning this year, by far the most in any inning. The 2-2. Line drive, a base hit to center field. So Zobrist with a single. I told you it's a hot one here at the stadium. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 91 degrees, humidity 41%, wind 12 miles per hour, and the forecast is hot and humid and partly cloudy as well.
Dave Island coming out to the mound to talk to Andy Pettitte, slow things down here. And Michael, you mentioned the fact that Andy Pettitte's had problems in the first inning. And one thing about pitchers and a veteran pitcher that Andy Pettitte's had, remember he's 11-2 this year, so he still had a good year. Sometimes you get out there on the mound, you figure out what's working, what's not. You know, where I can put the ball, is the ball going where I want it to go? And then from this point on, he gets better as the game goes on. It's just a matter if he doesn't dig too much of a hole for the Yankees to come back from. And that's been the case more often than not. The Yankees have been able to give him some decent run support, and he's been able to win ball games.
Here's Bartlett, 8 for his last 20. Pettitte trying to get a cheap out with a pickoff. He's struggling getting the batters out at this point. The only batter he's retired was on a sac bunt. Bartlett not having as good an offensive year as last year, 236, but he has been hotter of late. Strike.
Yeah, he's over 320 in July, so maybe he too is turning the corner with the bat. He's got 3 hits in this series.
Andy faced the Rays earlier this year and had a bad outing. 5 innings, 9 hits, and 7 runs. 9 hits and 7 runs, season high. As Bartlett swings and misses.
Yeah, still in his career, he's 16-6 against the Rays. But Michael, a lot of those wins came early when the Rays were then the Devil Rays, and weren't really scaring anybody. The Yankees were rolling over them. This is a different team now.
Well, how about this? 17-2 since August of 2009 against every other team but Tampa Bay. He's 0-2 against Tampa Bay. Long look into Posada. Time is called. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. The 1-2. And another base hit against Pettitte as Bartlett dunks one into left field. And the hits keep coming for Tampa Bay. First and second, still just one out.
Now remember, yesterday A.J. Burnett had a short start, so the Yankees wouldn't like to see that 2 days in a row and kind of burn up the bullpen a bit. Joe Girardi would like to have Andy Pettitte get through this inning, then settle down and see if the Yankee offense could get going. There's a look at Burnett, who yesterday had to leave after 2.
Here's Gabe Kapler. Zobrist at second and Bartlett is on first. Line. Oh, what a play by Rodriguez. Took an extra base hit away from Kapler. Really helps out Pettitte there.
Well, the Rays have come out swinging the bat well, and this includes Kapler. He just had poor direction. Good stop by Alex Rodriguez. You can see the ball was over his right shoulder as he made the play. Here's our IOTV super shot. A-Rod reaching behind him to come up with that one for all he was worth.
DJ Rayburn enjoyed the view. So 1 out away from finally getting out of the inning. Here's Kelly Shopping. And he will get out of it. A ground ball to Jeter. And he's going to have to go to first. He makes the out there, and that will do it. But the Rays score 3 runs on 4 hits and 2 men left. The big blow off the bat of Carlos Pena. A 2-0 pitch. He drives it into the second deck. Tampa Bay 3. And the Yankees coming to bat. .42 ERA. So let's see how they try to get it done. Their starting lineup is presented by Lexus. The Yankees are in first place, best record in baseball, 57-33. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing right, Nick Swisher. Mark Teixeira's at first base, he'll hit third. Cleaning up and playing third base, Alex Rodriguez. Robinson Cano at second, will bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching, Jorge Posada. Marcus Timms will DH against the lefty. He'll bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. And Brett Gardner's in left field. He'll bat ninth.
24-year-old David Price is on the mound for the Rays this afternoon. He's 2-0 in his career against the Yankees, including a win this year. This will be his 18th start. You can see the numbers. They are all excellent. He, too, like Andy Pettitte, was an all-star this year. We'll check out the scouting report on David Price right quickly if we can. And here it is. Golden Spikes Award winner 2007, that top amateur player in America. #1 pick overall by the Rays. In his last 3 starts, 27 strikeouts.
Jeter wraps one sharply to second. Sean Rodriguez with the backhand and gets Jeter one away. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Derek now 3 for his last 26. Let's take a look now at the Rays defense, which is brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, Kapler, Upton, and Zobrist left to right. Infield, Longoria, Bartlett, Rodriguez, and Pena third to first. Shopik behind the plate, and David Price is on the mound. And here's Nick Swisher. Nick 4 for his last 21. Switch hitter, bats from the right side against the lefty Price. .93-mile-an-hour fastball misses outside. That one is drilled deep to center field. Upton back, still back, still back, still back. He can't make the play, and it bounces into Monument Park. A double for Nick Swisher.
Yeah, we saw the double that Upton hit over the head of Granderson because Granderson had a poor jump. Upton does get a good jump, but he plays very shallow in center field, and this time Swisher makes him pay. Ball hops off the warning track over the center field wall. Still, he almost got to it. Missed it by about 6 inches. Looking, thinks he has it tracked. It's going to be one of those Willie Mays over-the-shoulder catches, but not this time for B.J. Upton. A 2-base hit for Nick Swisher. Swisher's 4th hit in this series. He's 4 for 10.
And was robbed of an extra base hit by Gabe Kapler. Otherwise, he would have 5 hits. Here is Mark Teixeira. And a strike to Teixeira. Teixeira 8 for his last 16. He has reached base safely in his last 34 games. Average up to 253. He's in the top 10 in RBIs with 61. A far cry from the first 2 months of the season when he seemed lost at the plate, and he had a home run in yesterday's 10-5 loss.
Got a pitch in the middle of the plate to his liking and drills it into the lower deck in right field. And for him, that was home run number 18 on the season. Takes over the team lead.
1-1. Upstairs, 2-1.
We talked about Price being a #1 draft pick. He was, as we look at Teixeira's numbers here month by month, look at July, 388. Heating up with the temperature. Saying Price out of Vanderbilt University, was born in Nashville, Tennessee, went to Vanderbilt where he pitched for Tim Corbin. Corbin, very successful college coach, and here's the resume. #1 overall. Pitched in the postseason 2008 in 5 games, and as we mentioned before, the American League All-Star started this year.
And Teixeira works a walk, and that's going to bring up A-Rod very quickly here as a tying run.
Well, you got 2 All-Star pitchers who kind of struggling here in the first inning.
Alex, 71 ribbies. That's 3rd in the American League. His power has gone away again toward the end of that West Coast swing, and he hasn't homered in the first 2 games here at the stadium against the Rays. There's a high drive, right field, but he just missed it. Zobrist will make the catch in front of the warning track. Swisher tags, he'll go to 3rd. So a long fly ball for Rodriguez, the 2nd out.
Michael, you're right. When you said just missed it, you can see A-Rod's demeanor in the dugout after walking back after a long fly ball. He just got underneath it, and he knows that that should have been a 3-run homer. Here is Yesmo. You can see just off the top edge. That's like a quarter of an inch on the bat between being a high fly ball or driven more towards right field than a 3-run home run.
So here's Robinson Cano. .333 batting average. Cano has a 6-game hitting streak. Cano has certainly relinquished his top spot in batting average. Josh Hamilton now leads the American League at .348. Then Justin Morneau at .345. Miguel Cabrera .341. And a guy who we saw early, Kenny, Brennan Bosch of the Tigers, a rookie at .335. He has really kept it going. So a little bit of a drop for Robinson Cano.
You know, what we saw of Bosch, he'd just been called up, and he's just continued to hit for the Tigers.
Now, it's hard for Cano to think home run against Price. I mean, he doesn't go up there thinking home runs anyway, but Price has allowed just one home run against a lefty in his short career, and that was against Chase Utley of the Phillies. Another second baseman.
Another pretty good hitter, too. At least a brand name.
The 2-1.
That was a good swing. 96 miles an hour. Pitch was middle, and Cano has a good swing. It's just Price gets away with this because it was 96 miles an hour. You get one of those pedestrian fastballs in the middle of the plate to Cano, he's going to hit it a lot harder than that. That's where velocity pays off for a pitcher. You can get away with mistakes from time to time.
2-2. 96 fouled back. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. High fly ball, left field, giving Chase Kapler, and he runs out of room.
One thing I noticed about Cano on his last swing, during the course of this at bat, he's choked up just a hair on the bat, maybe to make himself just that much quicker. Usually you don't see this from Robbie Cano. You can see that the knob of the bat's more prominent, which maybe he could give himself just a half an inch more. As he fouls that pitch off.
Two. Driven out to left field, deep. Kapler back, still back, track, wall, leaps. He can't make the play. Swisher scores. Here comes Teixeira. He'll score. Moving to third is Cano. It's a 2-run triple. Rays 3, Yankees 2.
Robinson Cano, an all-star in his own right, and he gets something he can handle. Almost ran this one out of the ballpark. Kapler with a good try, just over his outstretched glove, and with 2 outs, the runners on base are off with the crack of the bat. There is Yesmo once again, maybe about a foot and a half. That would have carried out of the ballpark for a 3-run homer. Cano's 20th career triple produces 2 runs for the Yankees here in the first.
Now 61 ribbies on the season. The Yankees have 22 triples, the most in the American League. There's a strike to Posada. This is not a triple-yielding ballpark, usually, but they've got some speed on the team, and they lead the American League in triples. Posada pops one up. Right field, giving Chase Zobrist on the run, and he makes the play for the final out of the first inning. But the Yankees get back 2 of those runs. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 1 here at the stadium. Robinson Cano's triple has pulled the Yankees to within 3-2. This question is, who do you think is the Rays MVP this season? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Here are your choices. Number 1, Carl Crawford. Number 2, Evan Longoria. Number 3, David Price. Number 4, Rafael Soriano. Now, speaking of Crawford, Kenny, managers always try to give their regulars a half day off. I wonder if he makes that play on Cano's triple if he's on left field.
You know what? He's got the speed to get to the wall.
Yep.
We know that.
Here's Sean Rodriguez.
I kind of think he's the best defensive left fielder in the league since Ricky Henderson.
Rodriguez missed Friday's game here at the stadium because of flooding in his condo in Reddington Beach, Florida. He was just getting ready to leave. He was 5 minutes away, and all of a sudden the sprinklers came on and flooded his 4-story condo, his 4th floor condo. Fouled away. And this condo has not exactly been kind to Rodriguez, Kenny. He was stung by a stingray while waiting by the shoreline outside the condo. Now he's been involved in a flood. But, you know, players are superstitious. He said, you know, if I have a good year, I'll stay there next year.
Stung by a stingray?
Stung by a stingray.
Just outside of the condo.
Shoreline.
There is, the intercoastal is right there in Reddington Beach.
Rodriguez gets flooded with pitches out of the zone, and he works the second with a walk. You ever get stung by a stingray?
I don't want to. No, thank you.
Here's B.J. Upton. Started the game with a double over the head of Granderson. Rays are kind of still searching. Here we are in the second half of the season. They're still searching for a leadoff batter. They've tried a lot of people.
You've seen Upton, Zobrist, Bartlett, and Joe Madden changing around. I think a lot of it has to do with the numbers, who does well against certain pitchers.
Joe's one of those guys. He thinks outside the box. He doesn't really go with conventional thought a lot. Tries to be different, I think, sometimes, but he's done a good job. You can't argue that with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is his 5th year with the Rays now, and it seems like the time has flown by in that regard.
Now he's such a juggler, Kenny, that the only Ray to hit in the same spot all season is Carl Crawford, who bats second.
And some people might think, why don't you lead Crawford off? Yeah. There's a swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch.
Longoria has batted either 3rd or 4th. Pena has bounced between 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. The 1-2. Strike 3. Up and down looking.
Andy Pettitte did a good job of changing speeds, moving the ball around. When he wanted to put him away, he comes in with a fastball inside. Remember the pitches away, the changeups, and this is the heater. Right to the glove of Jorge Posada. Upton froze it on a hot day here in the Bronx.
Here's the aforementioned Crawford. Trying to keep Rodriguez back.
Rodriguez, another one of the Rays. 7 out of 9 in the stolen base department.
Rodriguez came over from the Angels on the deal that sent Scott Kazmir to Anaheim. And the Yankees will see Kazmir on Tuesday when the Angels come into town. Kazmir against Phil Hughes. Grounded to first. Drop, but steps on the bag and gets the first out. Teixeira does, but not enough time to get the out at second. I think if he doesn't drop the ball, he's got a chance to get 2.
Teixeira. Ball hits off the heel of his glove, steps on the bag for the out at first, and that takes the force out at second. Jeter would have had to apply a tag to Rodriguez. And if Michael called it correctly, with the ball knocked down, not caught cleanly by Teixeira, lose a chance to get the double play.
Here's Longoria. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the first inning. And he has to feel somewhat revitalized with the Yankees getting 2 runs back against a tough pitcher like David Price. But he doesn't want to give one of those runs back immediately. It's 3-2 Rays. We're in the second.
Ordinarily, you would say with a base open and 2 down, you pitch carefully. Longoria, an all-star, but Carlos Pena has given so much trouble to Andy Pettitte over the years that this might be the guy you want to get out here. And have Pena come up with nobody on next inning.
And he walked.
Looked like he pitched around it.
Maybe he has a different game plan now for Pena.
Well, you've touched upon the fact that Pena has struggled with the exception against the Yankees more or less. And now he's 5 for 9 in this series with the 3-run homer in his first time up. But one thing you notice about Pena, his low on-base percentage, although it's been going up lately. And it's kind of ironic because he is the single-season leader in on-base percentage for the Rays. Back in 2007, he was on base 41% of the time. And now, the last couple of years, it's been going down to 320 range. That's because his batting average is very low.
Pena in the final year of a 3-year deal that he had signed with the Rays. And unless he takes a huge discount, he's not coming back next year. And he knows that. He'd like to stay, and again, things change. But they've got to free up more money to pay some of these young players that become arbitration eligible. So they would probably go with a cheaper alternative at first base, although Pena is popular in the clubhouse and a very good defender, hits home runs. Snap throw to second, nobody covering as Jeter fields the ball behind the bag. Somebody missed a sign, I think.
It would have been difficult to apply the tag from this position. Jeter moves up a couple of steps, but not to the bag. That definitely been a long arm of the log if he got him.
Count 1-1, trying to stay inside on Pena.
Anything out over the plate is to his liking. Getting those arms extended. That's where the breaking ball comes in. You make it look like it's out over the plate and have it break away. Sometimes you can get him that way as well. I wouldn't say he stands up all that close to the plate. Sort of a medium stance.
Two and one. Andy at 40 pitches here. We're in the second inning. 38-year-old left-hander. Relieved David Price for the American League in the All-Star game. Now facing Price, the 2-1. That time he goes away with a breaking ball in the count 2-2. Price trying to stay loose in the dugout.
Shouldn't take too many of those. He's making me feel loose just by doing it. Pena can be pitched to. You make pitches, you will get him out. Leads the league in striking out, but he will crush mistakes.
Did he go? Yes, he did, said DJ Rayburn. So Pena strikes out. Pettitte survives, walking 2. Tampa Bay leaves 2. We go to the bottom of the second. 3-2 Tampa Bay. LA Express, enjoy the journey. Tomorrow's an off day, and then the Yankees will host the Angels for 2 games, Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday's a day game at 1:05. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Kansas City Royals come to town. They've been playing better baseball under Ned Yost, and on the road again, 4 against Cleveland and 3 against Tampa Bay. Marcus Timms grounds 1 foul.
You make a good point about the Kansas City Royals. They have the top hitting team in the league as far as average is concerned. Their ball club is hitting over 280s.
.340 Tampa Bay, 220 Yankees. It'll be the bottom third of the order for the Yanks. Timms, Granderson, and Gardner. 3 infielders on the left side for the righty swinging Timms. And you very rarely see that with right-handed batters. And the only infielder on the right side is Carlos Pena. And we've seen it over and over. Joe Madden does things to the extreme. While other teams might shift, kind of shade for Timms, he's going to take it to the extreme. That's just what he does, and certainly works out for him.
Well, if you're Marcus Timms, it kind of tells you that they're going to try and keep pitches in on your hands. Going to force you to try and pull the ball into the strength of the defense. And he is a pull hitter. I mean, he's looking for something he can drive to left.
That time they work him away. In the outfield, they're straight away for Timms, though. 3-2, and he walked. So Price does not look as sharp early as he has for most of the first half of the season, as he starts off the second inning with a walk of Timms. That's going to bring up Granderson.
Michael, sometimes when you get to the All-Star break, of course, Price pitched in the All-Star game, the rhythm of the starting pitchers is somewhat thrown off, because in the second half, following the break, they have to get back into the rhythm that they had that made them All-Stars in the first place. And you can see it with Price today, maybe a little, I wouldn't say rusty, but he's not throwing the ball where he'd want to. Andy Pettitte didn't in the first inning.
Granderson swings and misses, 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
I mean, then Sabathia's start didn't look particularly sharp on Friday.
No, he did not. And then
AJ
Burnett struggled
yesterday,
terribly.
and this is their, the starting rotations on all teams are just getting back into that routine.
The 0-2.
When Price was at Vanderbilt, he set a school record for strikeouts, and he broke it the next year by about 40.
Well, Granderson has not had the season the Yankees thought he was going to have. A year ago today, 257, 19 homers. Now 237, 7 homers, although he missed close to a month with a groin pull. He has also not hit lefties the way the Yankees would like. Now, it's better than he did last year, which was under 200. This year, he's hitting 216 against lefties and 250 against righties. You haven't noticed his struggles because the Yankees have the best record in baseball. So they can carry somebody who is not having a career year. And that year just got a little worse as he looks at a called third strike.
Price picks up his first strikeout of the afternoon, and it's appeared to be a well-placed fastball. We'll get another look. It is a heater, knee-high outside corner. It was high enough and on the corner. Marvin Hudson with the call.
strike to Gardner. Not the perfect setup for the Yankees, having two lefties stacked at the bottom of the order. But Gardner doesn't have that many struggles against lefties the way Granderson does. That's the way this lineup breaks down. Chopped right to Longoria. There's one. On to first, a double place. Hard to double up the speedy Gardner, but around the horn 5-4-3 does just that. And the leadoff walk does not come back to haunt David Price. Quick turn by Longoria to Rodriguez to Pena. And we go to the third. Price against Andy Pettitte. All the runs scored in the first inning. And leading off for the Rays will be Ben Zobrist against Pettitte. And there's a strike. Now joining us here on the top of the third, as always, is Kimberly Jones, and she's in the third base Camberwell. Kimberly, obviously there's a lot of discussion today and yesterday about A.J. Burnett. You were all over the story on our extra innings show after the game. What exactly is A.J.'s deal? Why would he not tell the truth about the injury and then have to correct himself and actually make himself out to be a fibber?
Well, I think he was ashamed of his behavior, Michael. He let the frustration get the better of him, and worse that, in expressing that frustration, he injured his hands. He has cuts on both of his hands, bandages on them today. And Dave Island says those cuts definitely affected A.J. in the third inning, and that's why the Yankees got him out of there. They had already seen him struggling. Dave Island said after he gave up the home run to the ninth batter in the second inning, he went out and he said, "You've only given up 3 runs. Hang in there, shut him down. We will come back. We will win this game. You will win this game." A.J. was not able to do it.
Now, you have a great relationship with A.J., and is he embarrassed by the turn of events yesterday?
Yeah, he is. He's embarrassed that he lied. He's embarrassed that he hit the doors and cut his hands. He's embarrassed by the whole episode, and he told me, "I've already put it behind me, but I still have these cuts on my hands to remind me." He'll be reminded of that all week, Michael, as he prepares to make his next start, which he says he will make.
You know, I spoke to Joe Girardi about it because Joe was kind of tweaked in the media. They said, he didn't seem that angry about it, and he really stuck up for his player. And Joe told me when we were doing the Joe Girardi show, which we'll see after the game, he said, just because I don't come out in the media, and I had a discussion with AJ, and he knows how I feel about it, and it's something that's just, it's the heat of the moment, Kim, but it's unacceptable. I always remember something that Joe Torre told to Paul O'Neill. He said, "Listen, you can do whatever you want. You can throw whatever tantrum you want." He said, "But you better not get hurt, because if you get hurt, then I'm going to get upset because then you hurt the team."
Michael, it's funny you brought that up because A.J. said to me, one of the greatest Yankees of all time, Paul O'Neill, used to display his frustration regularly. The difference is the water cooler didn't get him back. And that is a lesson A.J. has learned from yesterday. One of his teammates told me, kick an empty garbage can, throw the bubble gum around. Those can't hurt you. His teammates were upset yesterday, just so you know, as Zobrist strikes out. They were mad that A.J. cost the team by venting his frustration in such a way. They're over it. They all say they have his back now, but they were angry yesterday.
Now, A.J. said that he wanted to apologize to his teammates, and a lot of the teammates said he doesn't have to do that. Was there an apology?
Not that I know of. When I talked to A.J., he had not done so yet. Posada, Swisher both told me he doesn't need to apologize to us. Derek Jeter told me he certainly does not need to explain frustration to us. All of us have felt it. He said if he feels like he needs to apologize, well then, I guess he'll apologize. I said to Derek, as we all know, he does this stuff all the time. He talks to players quietly. We never hear about it. I said, will you talk to AJ? And he said, well, if I do, you're right. You won't hear about it. It would not surprise me if Derek has a few words to AJ. Their lockers are 2 apart. There's an empty locker between them. They talk often.
The 0-1 count to Bartlett is a little bit low. What's odd to me, Kim, is that the Yankees have the best record in baseball. They're in first place by 2 games over the team with the second best record in baseball. And honestly, A.J. Burnett, their number 2 starter, has not had a good year at all.
Yeah, and Dave Island told me today, A.J. has to be mentally stronger than this. He said a lazy mind, or a lazy arm begins with a lazy mind. What does he exactly mean by that? Well, with 2 outs in the second, A.J. hit Bartlett, a right-handed batter with a breaking ball. Dave Island said to me, that's lazy. He then gave up the home run. In fact, it has been and was yesterday a problem. A.J. runs into trouble when he already has 2 outs in the inning, no one on base. Dave Island saying that's a lack of concentration. AJ's retort to me was, well, it's easy for him to say he's not out there. I'm just missing location. So those two, I'm sure, will also talk.
There's a base hit through the left side of the infield by Bartlett. Well, that leads to this question, Kim. Usually they're on the same page. Is there a problem there? Because AJ said that's his opinion and not mine.
I think their relationship is good enough that Dave Island can give A.J. some of that tough love. A.J. told me that his meeting behind closed doors with Joe Girardi yesterday was mostly positive. Joe emphasized the positive. I can tell you Dave Island knows how to get to A.J., knows how to deliver a message. And considering what he told me, I can only imagine he's telling A.J. some of that same stuff. As Dave told me, A.J.'s routine was interrupted by the All-Star break, but he has to learn how to stay on routine when I'm not around.
Kenny, it just seems that A.J.'s success is so fragile. Everything has to be right. Sometimes in this game you're going to have to play through some distractions.
Yeah, every player is going through frustrations. When I was playing the same thing, there were a couple of times I went up the tunnel and let out a scream or whatever, but I knew that my teammates were counting on me to be on the field. So when you start taking liberties with your body or whatever, throwing punches at walls or pushing walls, then you're taking a chance on an injury, and that's going to hurt the team a lot worse. So the fact is that you're going to have to vent your frustrations in a different way. Scream, whatever. I've taken a bat to some equipment in the tunnel, but nothing that I was going to injure myself with. So, maybe a few bats were injured, but I wasn't. So the fact is that you got to learn how to handle it, and he didn't handle it particularly well yesterday.
And what's interesting, Kim? It's such a benign way he did it. He didn't punch a wall. He slapped the clubhouse doors, and the Yankees encased the lineup card in plastic, and it's just a freak action. It's not like he punched a wall and did something irresponsible. He did something that most of us do. You slap a wall or something like that, and unfortunately the way his luck is running this year, he cuts his hands. Very odd.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, though, Michael, is as Dave Island said, whatever you do, you can't involve your pitching hand in venting your frustration. So in that sense, A.J. did put his hand at least in jeopardy and wound up with the cuts to prove it. And Kenny, I go back to what you were just saying. When I talked to Jorge today, he said, the best thing for us, we have a game today. We don't have to think about this. He said A.J. has to think about it for 4 days. I think we all know A.J. well enough to know that will weigh on his mind, even if he doesn't admit it.
That's very true. Pitchers have a longer time to think about, particularly the starters have a longer time to think about what has gone wrong or what has gone right, for that matter. If you win, you feel the pressure of continuing on with the success.
And gut feeling, Kim, you think he makes his next start?
I do think he makes his next start. Kenny, quickly playing off you there. Dave Island suggested to me he believes A.J. got on a roll prior to the All-Star break, had a couple of great starts, and was more frustrated than usual yesterday in that second inning and after it because he knew that he had lost some of that consistency. It has been an up-and-down year for A.J. Burnett, and yesterday obviously not a good outing.
All right, Kim, thanks a lot. We'll see you on the postgame.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Kimberly Jones. Gabe Kapler with an 0-2 count. Here's Pettitte's delivery. And that one's popped up and fouled away. It is odd, though, Kenny. You could say Andy Pettitte now because he's 11-2 is the number 2 starter. But coming into the season, A.J. Burnett and his stuff lines up right behind CC Sabathia. And, you know, A.J. now is an under 500 pitcher for the Yankees, and they're still in first place.
Yeah, you don't want to pitch the two lefties back-to-back, and no matter how you think they line up in the rotation. Right. A.J. Burnett's going to split the left-handers. And you need A.J. to keep going to keep the winning streaks going. I mean, both these teams are hot, the Rays and the Yankees, and primarily before the break it was because the starting pitchers were on a roll. The Yankees on the West Coast, only one game did they allow more than 2 runs. That was given up by Jabba Chamberlain on a grand slam home run, a relief pitcher. So the starters were excellent, and that's where I thought the All-Star break broke that momentum. Now everybody has to regain and get it back again, pitching the way they were just prior to the break.
Runner on first base, 1 out. That's Bartlett. Kapler at the plate. He lined out to Rodriguez in the first. That's a line drive that Rodriguez can't get here in the third. A single to left field. Bartlett will move to second base. Now, we mentioned this today after the postgame. You got to catch an all-new WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show as the skipper recaps an eventful week, and we'll look ahead to the second half. Then afterward, it's an all-new Yankees on Deck presented by Tops and Tax. It all starts today. After the postgame, it's only on Yes. And most of the show with Joe about the passing of Mr. Steinbrenner and Mr. Shepard. And also we talk a little bit about the game on Friday and Saturday, and also his decision not to use Alex Rodriguez in the All-Star game on Tuesday. So a very eventful week for the Yankee manager. Here's Kelly shopping. There's a strike.
One thing that Andy Pettitte's always had a way of doing it outside the first inning, and one reason why I've enjoyed watching him pitch for all these years with the Yankees, his ability to get out of trouble. You know, he's got a hitter at the plate here who grounded to short his first time, and it is a double play candidate if he can get that again.
Well, the danger with Andy is the pitch count right now at 62.
Yeah,
and usually at this point, though, if Andy straightens himself out, he'll have 2 10-pitch innings, and then he'll be right back on track. But at this point, with the temperature over 100 on the field, as you see, 20 pitches an inning is too much for a 38-year-old, for anybody. So at some point, he's going to run out of gas. Andy has induced 15 double plays this year, so looking for one right here. And Shopik has the speed to hit into one. Count 1-1.
Or the lack thereof, is that what you're saying?
I wanted to go with the glass half full.
Yeah,
you know?
oh, okay.
Seven 7-0 in day games this year. Night games 4-2. In fact, since September of last year, 9-0, 2.18 in day games. And Posada wants to talk with Pettitte, who has a 3-1 count to Shopping.
There's something wrong with Andy Pettitte, and yeah, he was flexing his leg as if something's wrong in the groin area, and Joe Girardi's going to come out along with Gene Monahan, Dave Island, and it was just after that pitch. And I noticed it when he turned to get the ball back from Jorge Posada. Something's not quite right here. He's trying to convince everybody that he's okay, but I'm sure they're going to be very careful with Andy Pettitte.
Now, sometimes because of heat like this, Kenny, you get cramps. Let's see what happened on this pitch. It looked like he grabbed his left leg, and he's stretching right there. You don't know if you cramp up because of the heat. Now Andy had his hands on his knees there. And they're going to take him out of the game.
Yeah, it's not good.
And it's also not good for the Yankees. Yesterday, an early exit by A.J. Burnett. Now an early exit by Andy Pettitte. And the Yankees are going to have to piece it together out of the bullpen. They're still in this game. It's 3-2. Runners on first and second. A 3-1 count on Shopik. We'll be back and see who the Yankees bring in to try to pick it up. Dub shot, and by Heineken Light, see the light. Well, certainly a tough situation with Andy Pettitte. Obviously pulled a groin or a hamstring, some kind of muscle, and that forces Joe Girardi to make the call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T, rethink possible. And he goes to David Robertson. Now, the Rays have had great success against American League East teams this season. 5-1 against the Orioles, 8-4 against the Red Sox, 4-3 against the Yankees, and 6-3 against the Blue Jays. And I think that because the Rays have played so well and the Yankees want to win this series, Joe said before the game his long man today could be Boone Logan, who was called up when Marte went on the DL, or Chan-Ho Park. But I think with runners on first and second and a 3-1 count, he's looking at this almost as a late inning appearance for Robertson. I don't think he's going to keep him in there for 3 innings. He'll probably let him get out of this inning, one more, and then he might bring in a Park or might bring in a Logan. But he wants to hold the game right here. He wants to win this game.
Yeah, Robertson's been pitching very well late out of the bullpen. In fact, in the opening game of the series, the 5-4 Yankee win, he did pitch an inning, and it was a perfect 8th inning. He struck out 3, struck out the side. His ERA, you can see it at 5.28, but it's been coming down steadily. And 35 strikeouts in 30 2/3 innings. Remember, there are 2 men on base, and I think what Michael said has a lot of validity because Joe Girardi realizing this is where we got to hold him right now, give the offense a chance maybe to get going against David Price. So David Robertson is the call for now in the game here in the 3rd inning with 1 out and 2 men on.
Very lonely feeling for David Robertson. His only teammate on the field is Jorge Posada, who's warming him up because he comes in because of the injury, has as much time as he needs, and retreating back to the bullpen. The Yankee outfield enjoying the air conditioning of the bullpen. We'll be back when Robertson's done warming up. Stay right where you are. right here at the stadium. My 9 has the game on Tuesday. Then Wednesday afternoon, come to Yes for complete coverage starting at noon with batting practice today, presented by Audi and the Tri-State Ford pregame. Angels and the Yankees right here on Yes. Well, the players have returned to the field as David Robertson, as a short relief man, doesn't take that long to warm up. It did take a while for him to warm up this year, though. In April and May, he really struggled. 18 games, 7.31. June and July, 14 games, 3.07. And if you want to break it down really in his favor, before May 8th, his ERA was 13.50. Since then, it's 2.70. So he inherits a 3-1 count on Shopik and deals a fastball strike, now full at 3-2.
Yeah, people might ask, how come he's pitching much better? I think it's because he has better command of his breaking ball. We saw that in the opening game of the series. Several breaking ball strikes and a few strikeouts during that appearance against the Rays.
And Shopik walked, so now the bases are loaded, and this becomes a very big at bat for Sean Rodriguez. That walk, of course, is charged to Andy Pettitte.
He's the one who started the count.
So you've got Bartlett at third, Kapler at second, Shopik is at first. Yankees would love a double play here. Right. Robertson is more of a strikeout pitcher, and there the breaking ball is high.
Michael, you were talking about Rodriguez getting stung by a stingray his first time out. I heard the antidote is I got a text from a friend: meat tenderizer and vinegar.
Really?
Yeah. So if that ever happens to you, walking around Manhattan, you get stung by a stingray, you know where to go. Just walk in the nearest restaurant, ask for some meat tenderizer and some vinegar, and they'll look at you like you're crazy.
I'm going to look at a stingray like it's crazy if it's walking around Manhattan. The 2-0 popped up. That is not going to get a run in. Jeter shading his eyes. Infield fly rule is called. The out is recorded for the second out of the inning.
Good enough smoke on the fastball to get the pop-up of Sean Rodriguez.
And now here's B.J. Upton. He doubled over the head of Granderson in the first, struck out in the second, struck out looking. Breaking ball strike.
There's that curveball we were talking about. That was a good one. A knee buckler to B.J. Upton. Watch Upton's reaction. Oh, yeah, it's a strike.
The 0-1. Usually he's about 91, 92. That one he jacked up to 93. Blew it by Upton. Count 0-2.
Upton is in a quandary. 0-2. Do you see the curveball and a fastball that blew right on by him?
Well, with a breaking ball in the dirt, the count 1-2. Upton didn't bite. Rhythmic clapping, looking for the third strike. Instead, they'll get a pop-up, and they'll take it. Swisher is there, and he puts it away for the final out of the third. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. The base is left loaded. We go to the bottom of the third inning. 3-2 Tampa Bay. It's situated in center field in Yankee Stadium. The Mohegan Sun Sports Bar is a great place to gather and enjoy the game. Well, we go to the bottom of the third inning. All the scoring done in the first inning. Tampa Bay with 3, the Yankees with 2. And here is Derek Jeter to lead off against Price. First hit that Price ever allowed in the big leagues was a home run to Derek Jeter. Solo home run. There's a strike. Side note, every time the Rays have scored 3 runs or more this year with Price on the mound, he has earned the win. 12-4 overall. The 0-1.
Best ERA in the league, 2.42.
Now, coming into this game, since June 13th, 27 games, Derek Jeter, 22 for 107. That's a 206 average. That's his worst 27-game string since April 24th through May 26th of 2004, so 6 years. He has really struggled of late. But he gets a base hit right there past Carlos Pena. They had him played shaded toward right, so Zobrist cuts it off and holds Jeter to a single.
Pena was well off the line, and he might be rethinking next time up. Looked like a high breaking ball at inside out. Keeps the hands inside the baseball and fights it down the right field line. Pettitte really didn't have a chance at it. It's going to be a leadoff single for Jeter. And the Yankees have the tying run on base. Jeter with that hit passes Brooks Robinson on the all-time hit list. Brooks now in Jeter's rearview mirror. 2,849 hits for Jeter.
Here's Nick Swisher. Doubled over the head of Upton in the first inning. Jeter goes. Pitches low. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for the captain.
Derek Jeter now in double figures in stolen bases. Not wasting any time. First move, Price delivers. Shopik actually made up some time here. That play was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, but the left hand gets in there. Shopik, strong throw to second, right on the money, but the left hand is in there just ahead of the tag. Here's another look. Watch the left hand. Boy, that's still close.
A lot of conferences right now. A lot of it has to do with changing up signs with a runner at second base. There's a strike. Nick Swisher was the first Yankee in the dugout yesterday, as the old-timers are taking batting practice, hanging out in the dugout. And for him, it's a big thrill. Last year, he had 36 baseballs signed by different old-timers. This year, he didn't get any autographs. He was just sitting, talking with people. Really an appreciation of the game for Nick.
You would think some of the old-timers might say, didn't I sign for you last year?
Gives Moose Gowan a hug. I mean, he really does have a great love of the game. His dad, obviously a big league player, Steve Swisher. And boy, Nick Swisher would love to sit next to Lou Gehrig and talk his ear off. The 1-2 popped up. And Pena puts it away. So Swisher does not move Jeter over to third.
Fastball got it on his hands. You see Shopping shift to the inside. He doesn't want to shift too quickly. That gives Derek Jeter at second a chance to get a good look at what the location might be. And very subtly, you can pass that on to the hitter. So Shopping's going to set for his position where he wants the ball very late.
And that one is laced into right field. It's a base hit. That's going to tie the score. Teixeira will round first. He'll stop right there. Jeter scores. RBI single for Teixeira. And the Yankees have come back to tie the game at 3.
Well, this wasn't Teixeira's ace swing. It looked like he was somewhat full, but that looked like a Derek Jeter hit. Kind of fighting it off, and it just stays fair with slicing towards the line. And the stolen base by Jeter pays off, and the tying run as Mark Teixeira picks up his 62nd run batted in of the season.
Here's Alex Rodriguez, who just missed a home run his first time out. A drive to the warning track and right. This time, Price starts him off with a fastball inside for a strike. With that RBI single, Teixeira now has 14 ribbies in 14 games in July. And it's his 62nd ribby of the year. Alex Rodriguez still leads the team with 71. Teixeira has moved ahead of Robinson Cano by 1.
Look out. Almost got A-Rod in the foot.
A-Rod sitting at 597, home run wise.
Look at a dance step.
One. Fouled away. Now, we've seen this with A-Rod before. When he gets close to a milestone home run, sometimes it takes him a long time to get that home run. He did it with his 500. It took him a while. And then once he gets it, Kenny, he loosens up and they start to fly out after that.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. And I'd say home runs come in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bananas and home runs. The 1-2. Strike 3. A-Rod down looking. And he asked Marvin Hudson. I thought that was inside. Didn't ask him, told him. Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch there, Kenny. Brought to you by Suzuki Kazashi.
As we watch these pitches, you can see that Price has decided the inside part of the plate is the right place to be. Everything is in, including call, strike 3. And if you're A-Rod, on the other hand, his next at bat, he's going to have to hit something hard. Just go up there, look for it in, and try and pull it down the third base line. Even if it's foul, you've sent a warning to Price. You don't want to keep coming in there.
Cano takes a strike. And incidentally, to finish the point about A-Rod, it took him 8 games to go from 499 to 500.
8 games, okay.
I guess when you get that close to something like that, you get into the mode of trying to hit home runs, and that usually takes away your ability to hit home runs.
Cano's hit his first time up the triple, the 2-run triple. Hit number 993 of his career. So Cano getting close to 1,000. 1,000 hits.
Count 1-1.
And since he's come in the league, no second baseman's had more hits than Robinson Cano. Michael, I think you recall he played his first game against Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees called up Cano and Chin-Ming Wong from the minor leagues.
I believe it was the first week of May in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that for sure. And the mnemonic device that we have is that our producer Bill Boland, his daughter was born. Lily was born right when Cano was called up. So her name is Lily Robinson Boland. The 1-2 is fouled back. But they call her Lillian for short.
And she's going off to school this fall. How about that? Time flies.
We have to mention her big sister Madeline, so there's not a war in the house tonight.
Okay. You just did it.
1-2. Fouled away. Runner at first. Game is tied at 3. And the 1-2. Line drive caught there by Bartlett, and that'll do it. But the Yankees tie the score. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 3, a lot of threes, 3-3 game. Quiz. Who are the only 2 players in American League history to have at least 50 RBIs and 30 stolen bases at the All-Star break? Now, Carl Crawford is leading off. Could it be him? Could he be one of them? We'll have to find out in the bottom of the 4th. That trivia question couldn't have been that perfectly planned with Crawford leading off the inning.
But you know our producer, Bill Boland. I mean, he could set things up amazingly.
There's a strike to Crawford. Crawford, sack bunt in the first inning. Nice play by Pettitte. And then a grounder to first in the second. Pettitte had to lead the game in the 3rd, but waiting on word what happened. Looked like he tweaked a muscle. But we'll find out at some point, and we will pass that information on to you.
Well, if Crawford is part of the trivia question, it would tell you he's having an amazing season, and this is his free agent season. I'm sure a lot of fans are aware of the fact that this might be his last year with the Rays, and he is more or less, before Evan Longoria got to the team, the face of the ball club. He's the all-time leader in hits, runs, stolen bases, a lot of categories. Here's our scouting report on Crawford. 70 runs scored. I think he's leading the major leagues in that category. 386 with runners in scoring position, and he's had 7 games this year where he's had 4 hits or more.
And there's another base hit for Carl Crawford. It's going to be interesting to see, Kenny, if Crawford ends up with the Yankees. It seems to be, when you talk to people around baseball, that it's a fait accompli. I'm not so certain it's a fait accompli. You know, where would you rather allocate your money? You've got Granderson in center. He's signed for a couple more years. And you've got Brett Gardner, who's having a really good year in left field. And I'm not saying he's as good as Crawford, but there's not as much separation as there is separation in what they'll earn. So would you rather get another pitcher next year, or do you want to go and get Carl Crawford? So, yeah, I think Crawford has mentioned to some people around baseball that if he doesn't re-sign with Tampa Bay, the Yankees are like an attractive alternative. But I'm not sure that's a slam dunk. I think they like him. Who doesn't? He's a very talented player.
Right now, as he stands at first base, you can see that David Robertson's paying a lot of attention to him, and here's a good reason. He's always among the league leaders in stolen bases. Right now, he is second in the league to Juan Pierre of the Chicago White Sox. He's got a good lead over there at first.
Pitch out. That's what he forces you to do. Makes you think. He's got 31 stolen bases, second only to Pierre, as Kenny mentioned. Brett Gardner's fourth. Runner goes. Pitch is high. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Crawford, number 32.
I'll tell you what, his acceleration at first base brings back the thought of a player like Ricky Henderson. Doesn't take him long to be at full speed. And there's the late tag by Robinson Cano. 32nd stolen base of the year. Posada looking, but comes up empty this time.
Swing and a miss.
There's a look at the quick feet of Carl Crawford. Man. All-star Carl.
The 2-1.
This year, Crawford and Longoria became the first Rays ever to start an All-Star game.
How many stolen bases do you have, do you know?
25.
Nope.
Fewer?
Yep.
I don't know.
21.
I thought it was more than that.
But here's the shocker, because you were such a great player.
Yeah.
You stole 21, but you were caught 36.
Is that what it was? You can see why I didn't have many.
Now, were those 21, were they straight steals and you just caught somebody sleeping?
No, I don't remember. You know, to be honest with you, I do remember this. I was on a team that didn't.
Right, they waited for home runs.
Yeah, the manager didn't like stolen bases.
Maybe a lot of those were with the Mets.
And a lot of those.
And the
He
Expos.
certainly didn't like it when I was on base. Yeah, I was no Carl Crawford, that's for sure.
3-2. Foul back.
Good pitch by Robertson.
But you know, we're joking around, but that was Earl Weaver's philosophy. I'm not going to give out an out on the bases with, you know, Eddie Murray coming up and then or Ken Singleton coming up. I want 3-run home runs.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. The team did not have a hit and run sign.
Really?
It did not do that sort of thing. Didn't bunt very often either.
You know what's interesting, Kenny, is that in simpler terms, that's kind of the forerunner to Moneyball.
Exactly. But
you got 27 outs and you don't give them away.
See, but you have to have the players to do that. So I don't think that the A's in their Moneyball, they didn't have a lineup full of guys with high on-base percentages and home run hitters. They had some pretty good pitching, but not the type of pitching the Orioles had.
High fly ball, right center off the bat of Longoria. Granderson will make the catch, tagging and moving to third easily as Crawford.
I'll tell you what the ball is carrying since the weather's heated up here at the stadium. I don't think Longoria had his ace swing, but he gets the job done and gets Crawford over to third base. Pitch out over the plate. Robertson makes a pretty good pitch, and that was not a very good swing, and the ball goes almost to the warning track. And Crawford easily is going to move over to third with his speed. Good job by Longoria.
Now, I don't think that David Robertson's going to be pitching. I think he's going to get out of this inning. And then the Yankees will have to piece it together. That's why the early departure of Pettitte is going to put a lot of strain on the team. But they do have tomorrow off. Now, the infield is in for Pena. And Posada's going to talk to Robertson. And with the infield in, it also is a strange defensive alignment. Check this out, Kenny. They have the infield in and 3 infielders on the right side. Now, if Pena really wants to just get an RBI, just put the bat on the ball and hit it to the left side. He's going to go through for single.
Yeah, that's easier said than done. He's not that type of hitter. I mean, he's looking to pull the ball. You know, maybe early in the count he would do it, but then if he failed, he would go back to the way he normally hits.
Now, most of the left side is open because Alex has to stay close to third so that Crawford doesn't steal home. He doesn't want him to get a 30-foot lead at third base. And he could take a lead as far away as Alex is from third base.
Yeah, if Alex is over here, then Crawford would be taking the lead down there here. But you can see Alex relatively close to the bag. And that's so he can hold them close enough that if there is a ground ball, they would have a play at the plate. Because if he gets too far away, Crawford gets a third of the way down, and having the infield in is not going to pay off with his type of speed.
There's a strike. One. Now, Derek Jeter is playing on the second base side of the bag, but every time a pitch is delivered, he moves back toward right in front of second base for one reason. He's making sure if the ball gets past Robertson, the throwback from Posada, he's backing up. And you'll see the pitch will be delivered, and then he just takes a stroll, a couple steps to his right just to make sure. The 2-1. 2-1-2.
Years ago, I learned a lesson from Mark Belanger, who unfortunately has passed away, but he was a tremendous fielding shortstop. And he said with a runner on first, even with his head down after a pitch, he would take a couple steps towards second. Just in case if the runner tried to delayed steal or something like that, he would be moving in the right direction to be able to field a throw from the catcher.
The 2-2. Popped up and out of play.
There's little subtleties of playing the infield and the outfield for that matter that a lot of times the fans don't see. You know, a lot of times so you don't get caught napping. Outfielders, you know, they're stationed when a hitter comes up, they go to where they think he's going to hit the ball, but as the count changes, outfielders change their position as well. Hitter gets ahead on the count, he's more apt to pull the ball. If he falls behind on the count, he's more apt to hit the ball the other way, more defensive. So you have to shift accordingly.
2-2. And the count 3-2 to Pena. Pena with the big 3-run home run in the first inning.
Crawford probably stole more bases in 3 weeks or a month than I stole my whole career.
Three-two. He struck him out. That was a tough at bat. And the battle won by Robertson.
Now the infield can drop back after the strikeout, and we mentioned his improved breaking ball, and that was a tremendous hook. Here it is on Yesmo. Lined up to look like a fastball, but it's breaking down underneath the bat of Carlos Pena, who has struck out for the second time today. With Pena, you get a lot of home runs, you get a lot of strikeouts.
Here's Zobrist. Robertson came on to get the final 2 outs of the 3rd inning. And now working here in the 4th. Game is tied at 3. Strike. Sharp breaking ball.
Yeah, he's got a good one. He had it on Friday, and he's got it again this afternoon.
Zobrist 1 for 2, single to center and struck out looking. And the count 3-1.
Zobrist has a good batting eye. He has drawn at least 1 walk in 14 of his last 18 games, and that's why occasionally you'll see him in the leadoff spot.
3-1. Breaking ball is his best pitch today in the count 3-2.
That's a good time to throw it. Zobrist looking fastball ahead of the count 3-1. Runner at third. He's thinking about driving it in, and he freezes it with a good hook. Now a little bit of confusion in the hitter's mind. Does he throw a hook? 3-2. He threw it 3-1. Or is he going to try and smoke it right on by him?
Grounded to second. Cano. And that'll do it. So the leadoff single and the stolen base by Crawford do not hurt. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's a 3-3 game. Smokers Quick Line Quiz. Who are the only 2 players in American League history to have at least 50 ribbies and 30 stolen bases at the All-Star break? The answer is Carl Crawford did it this year, and Ricky with the Yankees back in 1986. Now it's just Ricky being Ricky.
Ricky was like that a lot of years.
Here's Posada leading off against Price. Yankees get Chandler Park up in the bullpen. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. 3-3, bottom of the fourth inning. Now it's 91 degrees here at the stadium, and it feels hotter on the field. The 0-2, count 1 and 2. And you look at the Yankee third base coach, Rob Thompson, and you see the temperature's over 100. And you see Rob has long sleeve shirts on, long sleeve undershirt, as Posada goes down on strikes. So I asked him, I said, why are you wearing a long sleeve shirt under your uniform tie? And there's a method to his madness. He said that as a third base coach, a lot of signs involve putting your fingers on your arm, on certain spots of your arm. He said from far away, my fingers obviously are the same color as the skin on my arm, because they might not be able to see my fingers against my arm. He said, so I wear a dark top so the fingers hold out and stand out against the arm. So there's a reason for everything. It's not that he likes to sweat. The 1-0. There's a strike, 1-1. Now, Mick doesn't really have to give signs like that at first base.
But he's a little cool. Mick's always been cool. The thing about a third base coach as well, it's a lot of it's the way you give the sign. Now remember, the other team's always watching you, seeing what you're doing. So he has to give him almost the same rhythm. He cannot look at what he's touching, because sometimes by looking at where you're touching, it gives the other team an indication that something really is on, because that tells them you're being careful with what you give. So you have to know the signs, give them the same rhythm, not peek, because you call the peeker. You know, you peek at the signs of what you're giving. So it takes a lot of practice. Some third base coaches work in a mirror.
Marcus Timms with a fly ball down the left field line. Kapler toward the line. He makes the play.
He'll stand in front of a full-length mirror and practice giving the signs.
Now, former Yankee manager Buck Showalter, supposedly one of the best at picking up signs when somebody's giving a sign, and he used to tell me that the thing he would look for, and you mentioned it, Kenny, was the rhythm. He said they're third base coaches that they slow down when they're giving a sign. If you're just going through signs, they'll go through it quickly. But if you slow down, he said something's up. We just get word on Andy Pettitte, a strained, that's a strain, ST as in Tom, strained left groin. And that's not a great injury for a pitcher to have. Shattered bat and a ground ball to Sean Rodriguez, and that's going to do it. So a 1-2-3 inning for David Price. We play 4 here at the stadium. It's a 3-3 game here on Yes. also in the postgame. Time now for another look at today's Toyota text poll. And the question was, who do you think is the Rays MVP this season? You've been texting us at 58772, and here's the answer. You have voted that 40% of you believe David Price is the MVP, and hard to argue. He's been very, very good. Evan Longoria, 35%. Crawford, 19%, and the closer, Soriano, 6%. Well, he's got on a heavy coat on a 91-degree day and a hood.
And a hoodie.
Looks good. The umpire, though, does not have on flannel and being helped out by Stevie Donahue.
There's Marvin Hudson.
Chano Park has not had a good season, and the Yankees need to straighten him out. The 0-1. Now, if you just turned on the TV, say you were at the beach, Andy Pettitte started and had to leave in the third inning, strained his left groin. And David Robertson went an inning and 2/3, and now Chano Park. Yankees used their long men yesterday, Mosley and Godin, so they're going to have to piece it together now. And here's the injury on Pettitte.
Yeah,
he's going to start to flex his leg.
Yeah, with Kelly Shoppach at the plate. And Jorge Posada calling for assistance, and Andy Pettitte out of the ball game. What'd you say, a strained left groin?
Strained left groin. High fly ball, right field. Swisher's there. Something they do now here on the scoreboard at the stadium, they put the injury report on the board, and I think that is such a great idea. I always wondered why they didn't. The people at the ballpark should know what happened to the player as well. And they just had it up on the board that Andy Pettitte left with a strained left groin. And I think that's really smart thinking and very fan-friendly as well. For years it was never done, but the Yankees do it here at the stadium. The 1-0. There's a strike. And there was a message that was up on the board.
Now, it's a matter of time to see how quickly Andy can recover, or how do they grade strains? They do, don't they? Like
don't they grade sprains? I'm not sure they grade strains.
Yeah. Well, my way of thinking is we all know what happened with Granderson. It took him a month.
Yep. Now you have to think ahead, and you certainly don't want to predict doom and gloom for Andy, but a strained groin doesn't sound like something who's going to be on the mound his next time around. So where do the Yankees go from here? And Sergio Mitre is a possibility. He may be activated as early as Tuesday, and he could be a guy that they could plug into the rotation.
Saw him in the clubhouse prior to the game. We also saw Alfredo Aceves, who this game kind of screamed out for him.
Right.
Yeah, to be throw multiple innings out of the bullpen. And Alfredo said that he was going to throw again today, if I'm not mistaken. And he seemed pretty upbeat. Of course, Alfredo's been out with a back injury for a long period of time. There's Sergio Mitre on the bench.
2-2. High fly ball. Left center. Granderson. I was just told, Kenny, that Granderson did have a grade 2 strain of the groin, and he missed about a month. So we have not had a gradation yet of Andy's injury. Things have been going so well for Andy, and he's been coasting through the season, all-star. And the last thing he wants and the last thing the Yankees need is to have him lost for any kind of a DL stint. Shoppach fouls it away. Now, I know that as Mitre was coming back, we're trying to rehab. He was more or less rehabbing where the Yankees were considering using him as a short guy. Maybe as that 8th inning guy if Java continued to struggle. So that means he's not properly stretched out. Now, Mosley, who pitched in relief yesterday, had, I believe, 11 or 12 starts at Scranton Wilkes-Barre before he was called up. So I guess he is also a consideration. But again, getting ahead of ourselves, Andy has not been DL'd. But just thinking out loud. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Posada. He finds it. And a wild throw. And that pulls Teixeira off the bag. So Shopik will reach. So you score that a strikeout and a wild pitch.
Well, Posada had more time than he thought. And watch the throw. He actually throws it more like an infielder would, off balance. And the throw is wide. Teixeira has to leave the bag. And if Posada had actually straightened up, took his time, made a decent throw, they would have gotten him. It's just going to be an error.
Yeah.
To Posada.
They're not going to give a wild pitch.
And rightly so. I mean, he has the time, but he throws more like the infielder that he used to be. And he throws it wide.
Now, that is a very tough error. Now, did he throw the ball away? Yes. But if the ball wasn't in the dirt, then he would never have been put in a position to have to throw the ball anyway. So what comes first, the wild pitch or the bad throw? Count 2-0. And the 2-1.
We saw Sean Rodriguez in spring training, Michael. He could not make an out. Hit 460 in the spring. Left a lot of hits in Florida. Came north, got off to a slow start, but is now starting to come around. Since May the 29th, he has hit over 300.
Now that's a good sign right there. Park throwing 93 miles an hour because it's been the search for the missing velocity. Last year with the Phillies working out of the bullpen, he threw 95 miles an hour, and that has not been the case this year at all. The 2-2. Chano Park, a different pitcher when men are on base. Opponents at 378 against him with men on base. And the man on base, certainly not his fault. He struck out the batter. Runner goes, and that one is driven out to right field. Moving into the corner is Nick Swisher that makes the play on the warning track for the final out of the fifth. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. The end of 4.5, we're halfway through. It's a 3-3 game. Phone. This is Dion Cable. This is Fios. Boy, Scott Kazmir has really struggled. 7-9, 6.92. He'll go for the Angels. Phil Hughes 11-2, 3.65. Our coverage will begin at 7 on My 9. I think there was a game, Kenny, where Socha allowed Kazmir to give up 13 runs in one game. Now, you don't know if that's punishment or I'm leaving him out there to straighten himself out.
Well, it didn't work.
No.
Not that day.
Here's Brett Gardner. The game is tied at 3. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Gardner bunts, and bunts foul up to the screen.
Gardner against a tough left-hander, trying to work his way on base. Rays are in at the corners. Looking at Sean Rodriguez at second. He's might be creeping towards home.
These two teams are battling. They have the two best records in baseball. The Rays are 2 games behind the Yankees, and the Red Sox 5.5 back. Blue Jays still hovering on the fringe, but in 4th place, above 500. Now, we saw the Orioles there, and there seem to be these continuing rumors that the managerial job is going to end up going to Buck Showalter, but they're certainly taking their time, and Juan Samuel remains the interim manager who replaced Dave Tremblay as the manager of the O's, the 2-1.
Well, the Orioles had actually played a little better under Samuel, if you call 14-20. Well, it was better than what they had been playing. But I think they've talked to Buck Showalter 3 different times, and there's no deal that has been reached as of yet.
I mean, Buck's a very engaging guy, but 3 times? I mean, don't you know? I'll walk to Gardner. So now Gardner is a threat to go. He's on first base. Now the Yankees and the Rays might end up deciding the fate for each other. After this series, they have 3 games at Tampa, and they finished the season here in New York with 4 games. So 6 games in Tampa, and then finishing it with 4. And the Red Sox might like that. I'm going to tell you why. Because if one of the teams dominates the other, then the Red Sox could sneak in. Because one of the 3 teams is not going to make the playoffs. Gardner leads off first, and Price holds him on. The one thing that Price doesn't have is a great move at this point. And he's got such dominating stuff, Kenny, that throughout his high school and college career, probably didn't have runners on base.
No, he didn't need it. But when you have the faster runners on like you have with Gardner, you got to be able to strike some fear into him. See, that's about his best. We've seen it twice in a row.
And that's why Jeter stole second fairly easily in the 3rd, and he ended up tying the game because of that stolen base. I think the Yankees just want to get on base so they can run on him because, again, there's not that great move. There he goes. And the throw. Not in time. Wasn't even close.
The 2 moves at first base with Gardner over there were very pedestrian. So once he decides to come home, Gardner says, that's it. Time to get myself into scoring position. Stolen base number 26 on the season.
How slow is Price to the plate? How bad is his move? Opponents are 9 for 13 in stolen base attempts against him. And Gardner could take off for 3rd, or Jeter could bunt. Jeter pushes him one foul onto the roof of the Yankee dugout.
Yeah, just because you're left-handed, you should be able to hold runners better than that. I mean, vary your times, hold the ball. There seems to be very little of that with David Price on the mound. And you're right. I mean, he's still growing into the role of a number 1 pitcher, and part of it is being able to hold runners. He's only 24 years old. Jeter still might be in the bunting mode here.
Now he's out of it as the count is 1-2. Now Pettitte started against Price, and if you want to compare the two of them, opponents are 1 for 2 in stolen base attempts against Pettitte. We told you 9 for 13 against Price.
You see, the key with Pettitte, there's only been 2 attempts. They don't even think about it.
1-2. Blistering fastball misses inside. Slice the other way. Foul.
Jeter got a pitch he could handle, a hit to the right side with nobody out. Couldn't keep it fair. Down in the middle of the plate. You see that slicing type swing. He's trying to keep it fair with the body language, but can't do so. You would figure Price would really try and get one in here.
Great speed at second, Brett Gardner. Nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 5th. 3-3 game. Yankees have not led this entire afternoon. But they lead now. Base hit to center field. Gardner rounds third. He will score. RBI single for Jeter. It's 4-3 Yanks.
Michael, you were talking about the inability to hold runners for David Price, and twice a stolen base by the Yankees has led to a run. The tying run, and here the base hit by Derek Jeter is going to plate the go-ahead run following the stolen base by Brett Gardner. Jeter himself had the steal in the 3rd inning and scored on the hit by Teixeira. So the stolen base, scouting reports, know who you're facing, what their weaknesses are, and it pays off for the Yankees in their last 2 runs.
And now we have to watch again because Jeter stole so easily in the 3rd, and he might go again. Jeter with 2 hits today, only the 2nd time in his last 16 games that Derek has had multiple hits. Swisher 1 for 2. Doubled and scored, and then popped to first. Foul back.
Good pitch to hit, and just, sometimes you try and do too much and it slows your bat down and try and hit the ball too hard. Quick with the bat through the zone, not swinging as hard as you can.
Fouled straight back here. Second baseman shades up the middle for Swisher, batting from the right side. You can see Jeter. That was Price's good move. And if you watch Jeter go back to second, go back to first, he strolled back. There was no urgency at all. That's how much he knows that Price is going back to first. So I think the Yankees have Price's move read.
Now, there are left-handers who've gotten the big leagues without a good move to first. They have worked on it, or have had pitchers, left-handed pitchers with excellent moves, teach them. And then they get much more proficient at holding runners.
cuts off the glove of Shopik, and it goes to the backstop, so they don't have to worry about Jeter stealing second. He strolls to second on the wild pitch.
He throws so hard that anything this far out of the strike zone, catcher has very little chances slowing it down. Way out of the zone, Shopik can only slow it down momentarily on its way to the backstop, and Derek Jeter is on his way to second on the wild pitch.
Third wild pitch of the year for Price, the 1-2. And the count 2-2.
Oh, Shopik's been tested. Another tester. One up here and now one down here. A lot of ground to cover for Shopik on those last two pitches. Well, it's a hot day behind the plate. It makes it even worse when you're moving around the way he is. The pitcher's not hitting the target.
Price at 75 pitches. And Swisher, once again, as is his wont, has worked the count full. We told you Price came into the game with a 2.42 ERA. This is just the second time this year that the young left-hander has allowed more than 3 earned runs in a game. Crowd's booing, but it was Nick Swisher that called timeout. It wasn't Price. Now Nick back in the box. Jeter leads off second. Nobody out. Yankees lead 4-3. That one is driven out to right field. Zobrist will make the catch. Tagging is Jeter. And the throw not nearly in time. So Swisher moves Jeter to third.
I'll tell you, Nick Swisher is fit in that second spot in the order very well. Didn't even drop the bat. He knew he had done his job. Hit the ball to right field deep enough so Zobrist had no chance of getting Jeter moving over to third. It's going to force the Rays to bring the infield in with Teixeira coming to the plate. So Nick Swisher, a productive out.
Teixeira has walked, scored, and then had an RBI single. So Price is going to work from the full windup with a runner on third and one out in the infield in. High fly ball, shallow right field. Zobrist makes the catch. Tagging is Jeter, and he just bluffs as the throw comes into home on a couple of hops. So Teixeira does not get it done.
Particularly in right and in center. Strong throwing arms. Kapler has a pretty good arm in left as well. So 3 decent arms in the outfield. And, you know, when you do that, you know, you kind of, everything's been set up. The hitter in front of you went to great pains to get the runner to third, and then you don't get him in. But still, Price is not out of it yet.
Pitch to Rodriguez is upstairs. Ooh, missed that one. 96 miles an hour.
Oh, A-Rod's best swing of the day. This pitch is almost right down the middle, about belt height. He's just underneath it.
Base hit up the middle. That'll drive home Jeter. A hot shot right through the box, and the Yankees lead 5-3. And the 5 runs allowed matches a season high for David Price, and for Alex Rodriguez, his 72nd run batted in.
After I said that he's not out of the woods yet, and it proved to be true, David Price leans back to get out of the way of the solid line drive off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. And that whistle by David Price. Derek Jeter can trot home with the Yankees' 5th run of the afternoon. Yesmo. Remember, he missed the one previous to this. This time he is right on time. The fat of the bat meets the ball, and it's a line drive and another run for the Yankees.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So a walk to Gardner, stolen base. A single by Jeter. Yankees lead 4-3. A wild pitch moves Jeter to second. Swisher's fly ball to right moves Jeter to third. Teixeira with a short fly ball to right. Jeter stays put. And then Rodriguez with an RBI single to center field. And the Yankees are up by 2. Now, Alex Rodriguez has not run as much of late because of the hip injury and the surgery last year and then the hip flexure. But he does have speed. He has 299 lifetime steals.
In the last few weeks, he's been moving better in the field, and I think he's feeling better on the bases. So, the way the Yankees have been running.
Off-speed breaking ball.
He might be thinking about second base. It's interesting. 597 homers, 299 stolen bases.
Boone Logan is ready. Chano Park pitched the 5th inning. Now, Alex's last stolen base was May 8th. Now, there are a lot of things that go into should I steal. Now, first of all, it seems like they get a good jump off Price. But second of all, he doesn't want to get thrown out with Robinson Cano at the plate. I don't think that leaving first base open, though, would allow the Rays to walk Cano. You're not going to go lefty-lefty and walk the lefty to face Posada.
I think a lot has to do with the count itself. If Cano gets ahead on the count, right now it's even. I think he'll stay. Look at it. Yeah, now I don't think he's going to go. He wants Cano to get a good pitch to hit. All of a sudden, if he does steal, Cano's been one of the hotter hitters in the league, already has a 2-run triple a day. Then they can get iffy with him at the plate. All of a sudden, they're not throwing pitches that maybe to throw strikes. You want Cano to have a good chance, maybe to get into one here.
Now the count 3-1. Price with 85 pitches. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, and Joe Madden, the manager, looking on. The 3-1. 3-2. So obviously that releases A-Rod at first. 3-2 and 2 outs.
Down and away. More or less to the target, but a good swing by Cano.
Rays have out-hit the Yankees, but the Yankees have outscored them. 5-3. Runner goes, pitch outside. And that brings up Posada with runners on first and second and 2 outs. And also brings out Jim Hickey.
Posada on Friday. This one tied the ball game. Off James Shields. Back-to-back home runs with Cano, and then yesterday gets into another one. And for Posada, that was his 11th home run of the year. He's been swinging a home run bat lately.
We talk about the patience and the pitch selection for Cano, which has made him an MVP candidate. Kenny, that walk was his 28th of the year. Last year, 30 all season. And also, he's selected within the count even without walking.
Yeah. So he's getting better pitches to hit.
Posada 0 for 2, a fly ball to right and a strikeout. Yankees lead 5-3, and they are looking for more. Nobody up in the Tampa Bay bullpen. And he drops a backdoor breaking ball on the outside corner, 0-1. Now the fastball, 1-1. Not only are the Yankees putting runs on the board, but they're building up Price's pitch count to a point that maybe he has an inning left. This will be number 90. Count 2-1.
One thing you've seen today very rarely is you look at pitches per ball game. Felix Hernandez leads in that category, and one reason he leads because the Mariners manager Don Wakamatsu is afraid to go to the bullpen.
That's one of the reasons Cliff Lee is up there as well. Only just recently joined Texas. He was also a victim of Wakamatsu's reluctance to go to the pen. A-Rod is at second, and Cano is at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Yankees up by 2. Rubber game with a 3-game set. That one is driven deep to left field. Kapler back. He's still back. He's not going to get there. It's off the base of the wall. A-Rod scores. Cano scores. It's a 2-run double for the Yankee catcher. And the Yankees are up 7-3.
One thing the Yankees have done this inning, they have pounced when they've gotten to hitting counts. Price fell behind. Posada fills the gap in left center field. And when there's 2 outs, that means the runners are off with the crack of the bat. No problems scoring. Rodriguez and Cano. There's the follow through on the swing. Posada didn't miss it. Posada now just 3 runs batted in for 1,000 in his career.
Here's Marcus Timms, and he fouls it back as Andy Sonnenstein begins to throw. Now the 7 runs allowed by Price, they are the most since he allowed 10 on June 23rd of last year against the Phillies. Timms, the 8th batter to come to the plate here in the 5th. And there's Andy. Now, the Yankees are not home free here because they still have to navigate these final 12 outs with a bullpen that's a little bit tired. One. Breaking ball for a strike. .95 pitches for Price. High fly ball. Left field. Kapler battles the sun and makes the play for the final out. 35 pitch inning. A big inning for the Yankees. They score 4 runs with a little speed by Brett Gardner and then some clutch hitting. Derek Jeter, RBI. Alex Rodriguez, RBI. Jorge Posada, 2 ribbies. A 7-3 Yankee lead. and Computer World, and by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the New York Yankees. You see Boone Logan warming up under that Toyota sign, and they'll try to squeeze another inning out of Chan-Ho Park as the Yankees have a 4-run lead. These are important games within the division, Kenny, because if the Yankees win, well, they have a 3-game lead over Tampa Bay. And if they lose, it's 1. So these games within the division are 2-game swings. So if they can get a win in a game that Andy Pettitte doesn't get out of the 3rd inning, that's a pretty hearty win.
Yeah, it's a bonus. And when you look at the scoreboard during the top of the 7th at Fenway, the Red Sox are losing. So that may be an added bonus if that trend continues.
Top of the order for the Rays. As per Jack Curry back in the studio with Bob Lorenz, the Yankees have taken Pettitte to the hospital to get the groin examined to judge the grade. Now, in layman's terms, grade 1 is the best news for the Yankees. Grade 3 is the worst. And just to remind you, Curtis Granderson had a grade 2, and he missed a month of the season. So the Yankees anxiously await what grade it is with Andy. So Choate now joins Sonnenstein. Umpire says the count's 2-2. Now it's 2-3 as Upton down looking.
Chan-Ho Park's had pretty good breaking ball today. Picks up his 2nd strikeout. This right to the glove of Jorge Posada. Yeah, that's a strike. Upton kind of knew it. Just turned on a dime and headed back to the dugout.
Now with Crawford coming up, Joe Girardi is going to bring in Boone Logan. So he's going to start to mix and match. Remember, he has Java out there, and he has Mariano as well. So now here's Logan to come in to face the lefty swinging Crawford. Chan-Ho Park is eligible to get the win. He's in line. If the Yankee bullpen does its job, stay right where you are. An 11th anniversary. On this date, 1999, David Cohn tells Scott Brocious there's a pop-up. And a perfect game. 27 up, 27 down. Baseball immortality in the Bronx. Our good buddy David Cohn with a perfect game. And Joe Girardi was the catcher. And I also remember that day, it was Yogi Berra Day. Mm-hmm. It was very hot. There was a rain shower that delayed the game in the middle of the game, I think in the third inning. And then after the game, Bruce Springsteen had a concert at the Meadowlands.
So
it was a perfect day for me.
It was doubleheader.
Yeah. So here are Logan's numbers. Too many walks, but he started off shaky and has been a better pitcher of late. There was one game, and that 96-mile-an-hour fastball further reminds me of that. There was one game he pitched against his former team, the White Sox, and he just electrified everybody. He threw 97, 98 miles an hour consistently, and everybody said, well, where was that? And now he's throwing harder, but he hasn't reached those levels, so it shows you what adrenaline can do as he was facing his former teammates. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. He's got a good arm.
Yeah, he does. Crawford had an unusual swing, like he recognized breaking ball late and then tried to hit it.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him. He really overmatched Crawford in that at bat.
Posada wants it near the strike zone, and Crawford obliges. Swings at a pitch out of the zone. Has to apply the tag because the ball was in the dirt.
Java Chamberlain starting to get loose. A little bit early for him. And as we try to piece together the rest of the game, you don't exactly know how they're going to do it. Unless they start to use some guys they used yesterday. Now, Joe did say before the game that they could get multiple innings out of Java today. So I guess in Girardi's world, what he would do is he'd pitch Java the 7th and the 8th. And then have Mariano for the 9th.
I think if Logan's able to get Longoria, Logan would stay and at least face Pena the next inning.
They used Mosley yesterday. They used Godin as well. They've already used Robertson and Park. So they have Chamberlain or Rivera, and that's it. That's what they have left. Hot shot up the middle, a base hit.
That's the danger of falling behind good hitters. I mean, they can lay on that fastball, and when you get it towards the middle of the plate, the good hitters are going to put it in play and hard. So Logan's going to get to face Pena maybe a little bit more quickly than he would have liked. But still lefty on left.
Now, Joe also said before the game that Logan could be a multiple inning guy today. And here's Pena. The shift is on, and Canoa's in short right field. Jeter's on the second base side of the bag as Logan chases back Longoria. And we always preach this, each game does not stand alone. Every single game interconnects with the other. So the unfortunate cut on the hand of A.J. Burnett yesterday affects this game on a day when Andy Pettitte didn't have his best stuff and then strained his groin. That one is grounded right to Teixeira. Stepping on the bag, he gets Pena, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Yankees are up 7-3.
Michael Kane. After a thrilling World Cup, Donovan discusses his amazing goals, career-changing moments, and the future of soccer in the States. It's the premiere of Center Stage. Landon Donovan, Friday at 11, only on Yes. Now, I always ask you, how is he as a gift?
You know, I wasn't certain how he was going to be because he's so soft-spoken, but he was very good, very, very interesting. So it's definitely worth a watch. You saw the soccer field that I believe is on top of the parking lot outside Gate 4 of the state. I got to tell you, Kenny, I don't know if you've got a chance when you leave the ballpark. Some of the fields that have been built around here are just state-of-the-art. I mean, it must be so great for these kids to play. There's a football field. There's basketball courts. I mean, there's stands that are built. The soccer stadium there is just amazing. They've done a good job.
Running track
around it. I mean, they really, really did a good job.
Basketball courts.
Upgrading the park area around the ballpark.
Certainly better than it was when I was out there years ago.
And there are more parks to come.
There's handball courts.
And there's going to be a huge park where the old stadium was going to be called Heritage Park, Kenny.
And I think that's where the new baseball fields are going to be.
Randy Choate serves up a base hit to Curtis Granderson as the Yankees start up the 6th inning with a single.
Because where we are now, there used to be baseball fields.
Right.
And a running track.
And used to play there.
Many moons ago.
Those are Choate's numbers. Boy, Granderson owns Choate. 5 for 6. And this Granderson, I mean, the first guy to admit, he struggles against lefties, but he does not struggle against a lefty specialist. So let's see if the Yankees are going to play for 1 run to try to squeeze another run onto their lead. You've got Gardner who can bunt at the plate. You also have Granderson who can run at first. And Gardner tried to bunt but fouled it off. And here are some of the long sleeve signs. And didn't once touch the arm.
The signs have to be complicated enough that the other team can't get them, but easy enough so your own players aren't fooled.
Bunted right back to Choate. He thought about second. And his hesitation almost caught him at first. But they get Gardner.
That wasn't a particularly good bunt, but with Granderson's speed, it was going to make it interesting at second. So Choate decides, I'm going to go to first and get the easy out. But because he looked at second and double clutch, he almost didn't get Gardner at first base, which would have been a disaster. It looked like Granderson was only halfway down when Choate picked up the ball. That's close at first.
Well, Joe Madden, who likes to mix and match, is going to mix and match. He goes to the bullpen for a right-hander with Jeter due up. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Andy Sonnenstein will take over, and he will face Derek Jeter. Sonnenstein used to be a starter, now works out of the bullpen. Less than a hit per inning, good strikeout to walk ratio. But over his last 11 appearances, he has a 5.49 ERA. The speedy Granderson is at second. Jeter's at the plate. Jeter with a multi-hit game today, 2 for 3, with 2 runs scored and a stolen base and an RBI. Good day for Derek. Grounded, knocked down there by Sonnenstein. Will make the play at first, moving to third, Granderson. That ball seemed ticketed to center field, but quick hands by Sonnenstein.
Yeah, he gets a nice hop as the ball's headed back through the middle. Hit very hard by Jeter, about a bell-tie hop, so right there at glove level. Knocks it down, recovers, throws out Jeter on the play. Granderson's going to move over to third base. There it is. For a moment there, it looked like he couldn't find it. Recovers. And throws a changeup over the first for the out.
And that brings up Swisher, who will bat from the left side.
Swisher's had a good month of July, and he's hit well with runners in scoring position this year. Over 340 with runners in scoring position. We talked about several times during the course of this year how Swisher's kind of calmed down at the plate. It's probably where he is calmest in life, when he's actually hitting. Used to be a lot more movement. Remember it last year when he was getting all set up, ready to hit. This year, not all of the wasted movement. He's holding the bat on the shoulder. Good swing. Just look at the last pitch. Breaking ball and fooled somewhat.
Nicky, 382 hitter this year with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Paid off on Friday night.
Yep. A walk-off win on an emotional night here at the stadium. Ground ball, through for a base hit. Scoring is Granderson. A big 2-out single and an RBI for Nick Swisher, and the Yankees lead 8-3.
Well, he is calm until he puts that bat in motion. Fiercely through the zone and right on by Pena. And Rodriguez, the headlong dive, comes up empty, and the Yankees have another run. Here's a look at the swing. Bat just barely off the shoulder. Steps into the pitch. This is a lot like the hit he had on Friday night.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Breaking ball strike for Swisher, his second hit today. And he now has 28 multi-hit games this year.
Michael, let's take a look at Friday on the base hit. 2 outs. Base hit. Hey, he's going to score Curtis Granderson just like this afternoon. And that was a game winner, followed by the pie.
3 pies all year, 2 to Timms and 1 to Swisher. That one's drilled deep to right. Fair ball, it's gone. It is a foul ball. Just missed a 2-run home run.
First base umpire Jim Wolf walked down the line, and he can see that this is about 3-4 feet foul. I don't think Tex really hit it all that well, but good enough to get it out of the park. He actually broke his bat.
Yeah, if you look at that replay from the third base side again, you'll see a shard of wood.
And he's just now picking it up and giving it to the bat boy. Yep, there it is.
Ball still went a long way. Swing and a miss. Teixeira down on strikes. But Nick Swisher with an RBI single. Now a 400 hitter with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. We go to the 7th. Yankees up by 5. McDonald's, and a lot of hits there, except at the bottom of the order. But you have a walk apiece for Shopik and Rodriguez. 2 hits for Bartlett. You had that 3-run home run for Pena, and that's the only scoring for the Rays, and that came in the first inning against Andy Pettitte. Since then, the Yankees have shut down the Rays, and they've put 8 up, while the Rays have been putting zeros up. Boone Logan's still out there. Ben Zobrist leads off. First pitch is popped up. Teixeira makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 out. Yankees lead 8-3 on the Verizon Wireless scoreboard. Is that a new logo for Verizon Wireless?
Yeah.
I like it.
I think it said "Rule the Air."
That's always been my motto.
That's what I was thinking. You read my mind.
Here's Jason Bartlett, who is 2 for 3.
Okay, you were talking about the Yankees trying to piece this together with the bullpen. So far, they've been very successful. 1 2/3 for Robertson, an inning in the third for Chan-Ho Park. Those two just allowed 1 hit between them. Now Boone Logan is on.
One count. Logan deals. Like a changeup. Yeah. Count 1 and 2.
Changeup at 87 miles an hour.
Strike 3. Dropped an off-speed pitch, and Bartlett took it. 2 outs.
2 strikeouts now for Boone Logan. Yeah, good breaking ball. Jumps into the zone for call. Strike 3. Rosales shifts to the inside. Bartlett took that like he thought it might have been high.
Here's Gabe Kapler. Oh, that got Marvin Hudson. Between innings, he's had ammonia towels wrapped around his head, and that is the last thing that he needed on a hot, hot Sunday afternoon. He's got to walk that off.
Let's see where it gets him. Posada barely got glove on it. Oh, man, right on the knee. Inside of the knee.
Can you imagine how much that hurt? It's brutal. That is a tough guy to even go down.
You ever been hit by a pitch?
In Little League, still crying about it.
They don't throw as hard in Little League as they throw here.
I wish you would have been there to yell, look out. I might have moved out of the way.
I guess it's all relative. I mean,
it knocked me right into the booth.
I could just see you dropping your helmet back. That's it?
That's it.
I'm not playing anymore. Give me a mic.
It's got, I mean, you were hit by a pitch. It's got to really hurt.
You know, the trick at this level is not to show the pitcher. Don't let the pitcher know that he hurt you.
Oh, I would start weeping openly. Just a strike.
The only time that I really got tickled when I thought it was on purpose. There were a few times you get hit, you know they meant it.
What part of the body does it hurt the most? The back? I mean, if it hits you in the back or the leg, the shin?
I don't think I should say.
Okay. Swing and a miss, and the count 3 and 2. Logan pitching well. Got the final 2 outs of the 6th. Now trying to get through here in the 7th. Yankees have a day off tomorrow. That gives them a little bit of a breather with using all the relievers. And the payoff. Grounded, foul. You were hit 17 times by pitches in your career.
That's not very often.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah, and one reason
about once a year, right?
Yeah, about once a year. But the reason, one of the reasons is because you're a switch hitter.
Yes.
You're on the opposite side of the pitcher's arm, and you have that much more time to get out of the way. And plus, when you have good hitters behind you, they're not going to hit you.
Right. Ron Hunt would get hit 17 times a week.
He got hit 50-something times one year, but he stood right up on top of the plate, and that was part of his game.
That one is drilled deep to left field. Going back, Gardner, turning, looking, see ya. A long home run off the bat of Gabe Kapler, and the Yankee lead is now 8-4. And there the return throw.
Kapler got something he can handle up in the middle of the plate. His second home run of the year, and he knew it as soon as he touched it off. And that gentleman in the red shirt is going to throw it back on the field. You know what they do at Wrigley Field, which has become sort of an art? The fans are, I guess they're used to catching home run balls from the visiting players at Wrigley Field. They bring in, like storm-brought baseballs, and they keep the real one and throw a phony ball out back on the field just to satisfy everybody else. People who sit in the bleachers at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Here's that high fastball. Kapler right on time.
It's funny because there was a homer yesterday, I guess, by Brignac, and I was sitting in the stands with my brother-in-law, and he said, why would somebody who took the time to catch a home run ball throw it back? He goes, I would refuse. I said, yeah, but there'd be a lot of peer pressure out there. That one's grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez across the diamond, and a backhanded scoop by Teixeira to end the inning. But the Rays get a run back on Kapler's home run. Nobody left at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees lead 8-4, but we remain right here to honor America.
We remember the service.
Keep expecting them to come down to earth, and they're not doing that. So coming into Fenway and possibly taking 3 out of 4 would be quite a strong statement. Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th here at the stadium. Yankees leading 8-4. Alex Rodriguez leads off, and Sonnenstein deals. That one's driven deep to left center field. There it goes. See ya! Home run number 498 for Alex Rodriguez. Check that, 598, and the Yankees now lead 9-4.
Took one pitch for the Yankees to get that run back that the Rays had scored on Kapler's home run. This is a hanging slider. Oh, man. Took a long time for that one to come down. 15th home run of the year for Alex Rodriguez.
Wow, the back wall. Here's Cano. Breaking ball is a strike. 598 home runs for Alex Rodriguez. Trying to join the 600 club. And he'd be just the 7th man in baseball history to hit 600 home runs or more. Grounded off the glove of a diving Pena for a base hit for Cano.
Cano with his second hit of the game. Another multi-hit game for Robinson Cano. And now with 994 hits in his career, the ball deflects off the glove of Pena. And Rodriguez running the other way, the ball will go by him. There's the deflection. And now Rodriguez is out of position to make that play, and Cano is on with a base hit.
Here is Jorge Posada. A big 2-run double in the 5th inning against David Price. The Yankees trying to take this rubber game and have a 3-game lead over the Rays. On the Verizon Wireless scoreboard, it's 9-4 in the bottom of the 7th. And that is off the glove of Shopik, and Cano will move to second. Well, baseball is usually not a collision sport, but check this out, Kenny. Alex is looking at the ball, so is Pena. They almost run into each other, but they avoid a collision as Alex continues on his merry way. We will see if Alex can rip off a couple more over the next week and get to 600 here at home before the Yankees hit the road again. And a strike. He almost had a home run earlier in the game in the 1st inning, just missed one, and drove back Zobrist, the right fielder, to about the warning track.
Yankee offense is kind of broken open today. First 6 hitters in the lineup have at least driven in 1 run. Posada's got a couple of RBIs.
Count 2-1.
A couple of years ago, Michael, you said that Sonnenstein was one of their starters. And now he comes out of the bullpen and more or less in mop-up roles.
If these scores hold up, Kenny, Tampa Bay will be 3 back of the Yankees, and Boston will be 6.5 back. Entering today, the Dodgers 3.5 behind. Check that. The Angels 3.5 behind the Texas Rangers. So that's a bigger lead. Philadelphia 4.5 behind Atlanta. St. Louis a half game behind Cincinnati. And in the National League West, San Francisco is 3.5 behind San Diego. So the Central is tight in the NL, as we mentioned, and it's pretty tight in the AL as well, because Detroit just a game and a half behind Chicago. Minnesota 2.5 behind Chicago.
There's plenty of good baseball to be played, and I think it's going to be exciting here in the second half of the season. Going down to the playoffs.
Count is full on Posada at 3-2. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 1 away. Well, today and throughout the Yankees season on Yes, we are asking you to vote along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772, or you can vote online at yesnetwork.com. Today's candidates are number 1, Robinson Cano, number 2, Derek Jeter, number 3, Alex Rodriguez, number 4, Jorge Posada. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Juan Miranda is going to pinch hit for Marcus Timms. You look at the way the Yankees are constructed right now, the best record in baseball. But this team is a team that's always built to win a World Series, so you have to look at what's just not right. And with the trade deadline approaching at the end of this month, I think what the Yankees will be looking for is a bat off the bench, a veteran bat. And I think they also need a relief pitcher. So I'm sure Brian Cashman working the phones constantly to see if that's out there and how much it's going to cost. And I don't mean in terms of money, but in terms of players.
Also, monitoring the possible return of Alfredo Aceves, if that indeed does happen.
And that relieves some of the pressure.
Yeah, it does. It does. But, he's not really that close, if you ask me. And he would be here before the trade deadline, I don't think.
Well, one of Girardi's strengths since becoming Yankee manager is the ability to fashion a bullpen out of what seems like not much.
And you can look at that in today's game. How Andy Pettitte leaves after 2 1/3. A.J. Burnett left early in the ball game yesterday, and they've kind of pieced it together from this point on. And I think one thing that works in Joe's favor is tomorrow's an off day, so the bullpen can refresh itself. Nobody has to throw out of the bullpen tomorrow.
There's a strike to Miranda, and the count 2-2. I think as the trade deadline approaches, it is a bit of a challenge to the pitchers in the bullpen right now. Show us we don't have to make a deal. Show us that you're going to step up and be the 8th inning guy or the 7th inning guy. Show us that you're going to be effective. And they've got a couple of, maybe a week to show before Brian Cashman might have to pull the trigger. The 2-2.
I'll tell you one thing, one portion of the team that stepped up today, that's the Yankee offense. The Yankees have scored in every inning but 2. With the exception of the 2nd and the 4th inning, they have dented the scoreboard. So that has taken a little bit of the pressure off the fact that Andy Pettitte had to leave after 2 1/3 innings with an injury.
Well, the Yankees have now scored 70 runs over the last 12 games. That's about 6 runs per game. And during those 12 games, they would be 10-2 if they hold on here. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, said DJ Rayburn. That is rip foul.
Breaking ball that hung up in the zone, and Miranda too quick.
Three-two. Fouled away. Crowd of 46,969 here in the Bronx on a steamy Sunday afternoon. And the pitch.
Look out.
So a walk to Miranda, pinch hitting. Let's take a look at the Yankees in-game box score, brought to you by McDonald's. Yankees have 11 hits, 2 by Jeter, 2 by Swisher. Teixeira with an RBI. Alex Rodriguez with his 598th home run. Robinson Cano, a triple, 2 ribbies and a run scored. A double and 2 ribbies for Jorge Posada. Only 2 people not in the party, Timms and Gardner, but they did reach base with a walk. And Curtis Granderson with a single and a run scored. Here is Curtis Granderson. Breaking ball strike.
When you reach base with a walk, you're actually in the building, but you're not quite into the party. You know what I mean? You're still waiting on line outside.
So you're behind the rope.
Yeah. You're close.
Popped up. Shallow left. Coming on is Kapler, and he'll make the play. And that's going to bring up Brett Gardner against Sonnenstein. Gardner wrapped into a double play, rare double play for him, hit it sharply to Longoria around the horn. Then he walked, stole a base, and scored in the fifth. Yankees 4-run fifth. And then laid down a sacrifice in the sixth. Runners at first and second. 2 men out. 9-4 Yankees lead. Pitch upstairs. Count 1-1. And the pitch.
Here's a chance for Gardner with 2 outs to come up with yet another big hit. The Yankees have done that throughout the game today. They're just hitting well with runners in scoring position. After all, there's only been 1 home run, and that was a solo shot by Alex Rodriguez.
Drilled down the right field line, but it hooks foul. Boy, he hit that hard. Strike 3, Gardner down looking. But the Yankees get a run as A-Rod creeps up on history. Home run number 598, his 15th of the year. We go to the 8th, and the Yankees have a 9-4 lead. incredibly hot this whole weekend, and I give a lot of credit to the fans that sit out there and our crew today. A very, very long game. There's Charlie. He's at third base. I mean, it's extraordinarily hot, and we have to give our thanks to the guys and the gals. They've all worked very, very hard all weekend. Very emotional night on Friday as well. So a great job by everybody in really less than ideal conditions to be out there for that long.
Hydrate everybody. That includes you, Vinny.
Even Tad, who most of the crew doesn't really want to survive, has done a very, very good job. Right, Tad? There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
Jabba Chamberlain comes on and deals a strike to the pinch hitter, John Jaso.
Is that Pete? Keith. It's hard to tell with that umbrella.
Nice.
The only thing missing is the beach.
Now, the Yankees have a nice lead here at 9-4. But, Kenny, they need to see something out of Jabba. They need to see some consistency, throwing strikes, throwing consistently good pitches. And I think that Jabba has gotten the message over the last couple of days, Kenny, that if he doesn't start pitching better, he is going to lose that bridge roll to Mariano Rivera.
Right now he's facing a pinch hitter in John Jaso. Yeah, the lone loss that the Yankees suffered on their West Coast road trip. Javier Vasquez had fashioned an excellent game. Yankees had a 1-0 lead going to the 8th at Safeco Field, and a few hits, and then one swing of the bat by Jose Lopez was a grand slam off Jabba. And that was the Yankees' only loss on the trip.
Check swing, did he go? That tough slider. Yes, he did, said DJ Rayburn.
Jaso does not agree, and we get a look. Here's the tough slider. That's close, but close enough.
Now, you know how we always have, toward the end of the game, player of the game, play of the game? I'm going to give you sort of an esoteric play of the game before we even go play of the game. You ready for this? And I mean it, too.
I know you do.
I think the key to this game, to me, was Girardi bringing in his 7th or 8th inning relief pitcher in the 3rd inning when the game could have gotten out of hand to get 2 outs from David Robertson. David Robertson's not a 3rd inning pitcher, but Girardi knew right then, I got to stop it right now, and I think that changed the whole game.
There were 2 men on at the time.
And that was almost like a short relief outing.
2 men on and 1 out.
Yep. Now, Andy Pettitte left the game early because of the groin strain, and he's been to the hospital, or he might still be there, undergoing an MRI to see the level strain it is. And you have to stick around for the post game. I'm sure Kim will have that information if he's back by then, and we'll find out if he's going to have to go on the DL, and if so, for how long. That just missed being strike 3 in count 1 and 2.
You know, think about Jabba. They want him to be focused, come in throwing strikes. And so far, he's looked pretty good. He looked good against Jaso and again against Upton here. The count is 1-2.
Swing and a miss. Nice tight slider. And Upton strikes out.
2 up, 2 down on strikeouts. Watch the slider. Looks like, and it's going to dive down and away just as Upton goes for it. That is a classic. Say that years ago, the pitcher that discovered the slider or invented it was Christy Mathewson. He was the first pitcher way back when with the New York Giants that threw a slider. It was called a nickel curveball because it broke.
Carl Crawford with a base hit to left field.
But it broke a smaller break and was thrown harder. Crawford with the 2nd hit of the game.
Pitch to Longoria. Strike.
Wes Matheson went on to the Hall of Fame. I guess very few hitters can hit the slider. It was a new pitch.
Swing and a miss.
Take a look at the last pitch. And it's this is it. Jabba knows the slider is really working today. 2 consecutive with Longoria. And remember, if you're going to throw 3 in a row, the third one has to be better. This one might actually be out of the zone. Let's see if he gets him to chase it. Nope, he wouldn't do it.
And the runner was going, so Crawford takes off and steals second. And they had to give him a stolen base. They can't say defensive indifference because that could mean something, that play. The 1-2. Driven out to right center field, giving chases. Granderson, he covers a lot of real estate to make the play for the final out in the 8th. No runs a hit. Then 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's all Yankees. Land Rover drive of the game. Why get a car when you can own a Land Rover, Kenny?
Well, here's the drive of the game. A hanging slider to Alex Rodriguez. His 15th home run of the year. Hit with authority to the back of the bullpen in left field. Well, Alex Rodriguez, number 598 of his career. That's our Land Rover drive of the game.
John Jaso stays in behind the plate. And Brignac takes over at second. Derek Jeter takes a strike. Jeter 2 for 4 today. Pitch is low, the count 1-1. Grounded foul. And the pitch. Grounded to second. Brignac to Pena. And there's one away. Well, it's over in Boston as the Rangers beat the Red Sox 4-2. So if the Yankees hold on, then the Red Sox would be 6.5 games off the pace. And Tampa Bay would drop 3 back of the Yankees. So it would be a productive weekend for the Yankees. And you know what, Kenny? I get the sense that today is the first day that it's all about baseball. Friday was very emotional.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Old Timers Day, also emotional. Today, it was back to just being a baseball game. And the Yankees have done well.
Well, it turned out it was a rubber game of the series, too. So get the focus back on winning as Nick Swisher has a swing and a breaking ball in the dirt. And Joe Girardi's always emphasized winning series. And that was the focus in the first half of the season.
Now, Javi Vasquez did not do his throwing yet. He's going to start on Wednesday against the Angels. So either he's getting in his throwing in the bullpen now, or they're going to have to pitch the 9th inning, which they could also do.
To get his throw day in.
To get his throw day in, yeah. Swing and a miss.
I know that Vasquez has not pitched very often out of the bullpen in his career. Only 3 times as he appeared out of the bullpen.
Yankee fans will always remember one of his relief appearances coming in for Kevin Brown in Game 7 in 2004. Put in a tough situation there, and he promptly served up that grand slam to Johnny Damon, then of the Red Sox. He's a starting pitcher. But he has not pitched since Seattle before the All-Star game, as Nick Swisher really looked out of sync against Andy Sonnenstein and strikes out. Now, after the final out, keep it here on Yes for the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry are back in the studio with highlights and analysis, and also a look around the rest of the majors. Plus, Kimberly Jones gets the team's reaction from the clubhouse. She'll have the latest as well on Andy Pettitte's injury. It's all coming up later, only on Yes. Here's Mark Teixeira. Count 1-0. Grounded foul.
Sonnenstein's done a pretty good job with the breaking ball. Used it on the Nick Swisher. Off-speed breaking stuff. He can change speeds on his breaking ball. He really slowed it down for the last couple of hitters.
You know, we were talking about Vasquez being a reliever, Kenny. His season kind of turned around a bit when he got a win in relief against the Red Sox on May 17th. I think he threw one pitch. And it got him a much-needed victory when wins were at a premium for him. And it looks like he might be pitching the 9th the way he's throwing out there. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. And Teixeira down on strikes. So the Yankees are retired in order. Last chance coming up for the Tampa Bay Rays. They're down by 5. Who are they going to face? Stick around to find out. Part by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. By Hager, established 1926. Your own great moment starts at Hager.com. And by Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. On a hot Sunday afternoon, the Yankees are poised to take this series against the Tampa Bay Rays. They lead 9-4. Jabba will pitch his second inning. He's going to face Carlos Pena. So Javi Vasquez just getting his throwing in the bullpen. Now, Jabba has not appeared for more than 1 inning since June 5th when he went 1 1/3.
You know, one thing about Vasquez throwing so late in the ball game and us thinking that he might be coming in. Maybe Joe Girardi told him, hold off on your throwing. You know, there's a possibility you might get in a game. So work on your throwing in the bullpen late in the ball game, man. So he'll be set for his start. What'd you say, Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday against the Angels.
And Pena lines one to right field, and it gets past Nick Swisher. He fields it quickly. Pena's going for 2. The throw, not in time. Boy, that was very dangerous for Pena, down 5 if he would have gotten thrown out. But you make it, and it's not a big deal.
Now, first of all, one reason it was dangerous because he hit the ball so hard. The ball bounces right back to Swisher. This is going to make it a close play at second, and the throw is just a hair late. As Pena is in with a 2-base hit. The Yankees will be happy to see him leave town. This is his 12th double of the year. But he has put on a show. 3-run homer today. 4 hits yesterday. They actually held him 0 for 3 on Friday, though. Here's the Coors Light freeze cam as the foot gets in there just ahead of the tag. 12th double of the year for Carlos Pena.
Pitts and Ben Zobrist is outside. Why use Jabba 2 innings? They want to straighten him out. That's why. They want to get him work. And the count 2-0.
a strike. A little fan with a little fan. The 2-1. Strike, 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
The Rays have a few players on this team that are very versatile, and Zobrist might be leading the pack. And we've seen him at second, right field, center. He's played short, third, first. I guess all three outfield positions. And his versatility for him has paid off. He signed a 3-year extension earlier this year.
Did he go? He foul tip, and it was held on to by Posada, so he's down on strikes.
Third strikeout for Jabba Chamberlain. Yep, there's the foul tip, and Posada keeps it within the glove. It's Marvin Hudson with the call.
Matt Joyce on deck to pinch hit. And the 1-0 to Bartlett. Deep drive, left center, drifting back Granderson, and he'll make the play in what used to be Death Valley on the warning track for the second out, and the Rays are down to their final out.
Used to be, it still has the same effect. That ball was hit well by Bartlett. A lot of ballparks, it might have had the distance to get out, but Granderson, plenty of room to roam in left center field. And that is the second out. Rays are down to their last out. After this ball falls into Granderson's glove.
So Matt Joyce will pinch hit for Gabe Kapler, who had a home run his last time up. 9-4 Yankees. Each team with 11 hits. A close to 4-hour affair here in the Bronx. Broke his bat on that one.
Matt Joyce is a native of Tampa. Came over from the Tigers, the Edwin Jackson trade.
They thought he was going to be their everyday right fielder.
He's had a lot of injuries.
The 0-1. Inside, 1-1. And the count 2-1. Yankees off tomorrow, and then 2 games against the Angels, and then 4 games against the Kansas City Royals. Then the A's will hit the road with 4 games in Cleveland against the Indians, and then 3 games in St. Pete against these Tampa Bay Rays. The 2-1.
One thing the Yankee pitching staff has done today, every pitcher's had at least 1 strikeout, 11 total. The Rays lead the league in striking out. They have been pushed over the 700 strikeout mark for their team.
Mariano is standing on the mound out in the bullpen. The 3-1. Line drive, base hit down the right field line. It gets past Swisher. Scoring easily is Pena, and Matt Joyce with the pinch hit RBI double. Still not over. Yankees lead 9-5. Now Joe's going to go to the bullpen. He's going to bring in Rivera. Wow. Obviously not a save situation at 9-5. Tying run is not on deck, but he doesn't want to push Jabba to 2 innings, 30 pitches, so he goes to Rivera just to get the final out and try to nail this down. Weekend with the debut of an updated Yankeeography featuring Hall of Famer Goose Gossage. With new footage, including Goose's induction at Cooperstown, it's an updated version of Yankeeography. Goose Gossage, Thursday at 11, only on Yes. Well, Mariano Rivera will get what he hopes is just a little bit of work in as he tries to get the final out. Not a save situation. 3-1, 1.02. He's been, as he's always, magnificent. And he will face Reed Brignac, who had a couple homers in yesterday's game. That one off the fist. Mariano threw one pitch, nails it down, and the Yankees win 9-5. I don't even think they're going to have to wash Mariano's uniform. But the Rays get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. Alex Rodriguez with his 598th home run. Joe Girardi massaged the bullpen beautifully after an early injury to Andy Pettitte in the 3rd inning. And the Yankees are now 4-4 against the Rays this season. They've won 11 of their 15 home series. They win 2 out of 3 against the Rays in this weekend set, and they have a 3-game lead over Tampa Bay as well. Reminder, stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game. Well, the Yankees turned what could have been a negative into a positive, the way Joe Girardi managed the bullpen. A good job by him. Andy Pettitte had to leave with a strained left groin with 1 out in the 3rd inning, couple of runners on, and Girardi decides to go to David Robertson instead of one of his quote-unquote long men, and it certainly worked out as Robertson pitched an inning in 2/3, then Chan-Ho Park, then Boone Logan, Jabba Chamberlain, and Mariano Rivera, 1 pitch and 1 out. So they all get it done, and the Yankees win this one here at the stadium. And a big blow in the game by Alex Rodriguez, and he is standing with our very own Kimberly Jones. Kim?
I am, Michael, and I'm laughing because Alex is looking into the crowd. I think you're delirious because of the heat. Is that possible?
Well, I don't know, but these are some long games. It's good to come out on the winning end today.
How about Andy leaves in the 3rd? We'll get the update from the manager. But the job your bullpen did beginning with David Robertson.
Yeah, I mean, first let's hope that whatever happened to Andy is not serious. He's such a big part of our team. and our bullpen did a great job. I mean, you know, a lot of credit goes to Joe today because he brought in Robertson, and it was a little surprising, but that inning to me was the key of the win today.
And offensively, as a group, you guys got to David Price like no team has in more than a year. What was the key there, Alex?
Well, he's one of the top guys in the American leagues, and, you know, for us, we want to capitalize on opportunities. And today we worked him a little bit, and we got some big hits with 2 outs.
You've hit some no-doubters in your career, a bunch of them. Number 598 was one, wasn't it? That was a shot.
Well, I felt good off the bat, and, you know, against a team like this, you want to keep batting those insurance runs, those tack-on runs, and that was one of them.
Number 600 is looming. You have 6 games left on this homestand. How sweet would it be to get it here?
Well, I mean, again, for us, it's nice to hit home runs when you win, and you help the team win, and hopefully we can do both here at home.
I'll try again after 599. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Didn't get anywhere with that, Michael.
Nice shot, though, Kim. Certainly worth the effort. Thank you to Kim, and thank you to Alex, who hits his 598th home run of his career. So the Yankees take 2 out of 3 from their closest pursuers, the Tampa Bay Rays. They win this one 9-5. Got some awards to give out.